It's all happening right now. We're trying to get Le Mans Ultimate up and running. The buzzer's going off on the flat. We've got people coming to my door. I'm the only one in. It's all chaos. So forgive me for a bit of a mental start to the stream, but welcome along to the Traction channel. I'm just performing a quick Steam reset to try and get Le Mans Ultimate working. I was on the game literally 5 minutes ago. I was waiting for the online races to appear. They weren't appearing, so I thought, you know what? I'll quit the game, reboot it. That'll probably fix things. And then I had these issues. But hopefully now a Steam restart will do the job. Pray for me. It's loading. It's doing more than it did last time. Hello everyone, how are you all getting on? I'll show you what's on screen in just a second. Yay! It's launching. Right, first tip about 30 seconds into the live stream. If you're having issues getting Le Mans Ultimate launched with this new anti-cheat software and everything, if it comes up with an error code, just restart Steam and see if that helps you out, because I think a few people have had that problem. So, we're here. Anyway, hopefully you can hear me all right. Hope you're all having a lovely day, a nice week so far. It's still very early in the week. This is, I think, our third Traction stream on 3 working days. I wasn't streaming on the weekend, but streamed on Friday, streamed Monday, streaming again on Tuesday. It's been very fun, and there's been lots of stuff to be talking about in streaming, so that's why we've been doing so many streams. You've had AC Evo major update last week. You had, of course, Race Room with the new DTM 2002 content. I had a blast, by the way, yesterday on Race Room. That was such a fun stream. We did like 5 races, and all of them were really exciting. All of them were just fun to drive in, and you guys were amazing in the chat as well. We did some giveaways. And then today, it's time for Le Mans Ultimate, which, as you can now see... Oh, no, you can't yet. Give me 5 seconds. There it is. Le Mans Ultimate's here. But I see we've got Thierry in here. I see we've got Tom in. How's it going, Tom? We've got Dave, who I've been chatting to a little bit already today. Mark's here. Lots of familiar names in the chat. Ike is here as well. Awesome. How's it going? What's your take on the new wet weather? I haven't tried it yet, Ike. I haven't tried it. This is because we've been so busy with everything else. This is actually the first time I have fired up version 1.2, and it's the first time I've fired up the new ELMS content, so it's all new to us today. Let's just see if we have any online races yet. The server was down for maintenance until 2 o'clock. However, just 5 minutes ago, there weren't any races yet showing up here, but now they are. Look at this. Okay, amazing. So what I want to see is, when is the first Paul Ricard race? Because we're going to aim for that one. There it is. ELMS Sprint Trophy, 2:45. All right. So we've got 40 minutes until the first Paul Ricard race. I don't think we could do another race quick enough, to be honest, to be able to finish it in time. How long is a prototype fixed race at Spa? I've got all the information on Discord. Let me go find out. I don't really want to start a race, and then that causes me to miss the Paul Ricard race, if that makes sense. Let me just check on the Le Mans Ultimate Discord server. So, let's see. Prototype fixed is a 20-minute race. There's going to be qualifying. Will we have time to do that? A 20-minute race before Paul Ricard? I'm not sure. What do you reckon? Le Mans Ultimate in the chat. What do you think? Do you think I've got time? Do you think I'll manage to do both? I mean, we can also just try some stuff. We can definitely try some stuff offline as well. I could try some Paul Ricard. We can try some rain. Hope you've done your Paul Ricard homework. Yeah, you need to do a bit of homework for Paul Ricard. I can't do GT3 Monza, sadly. Look, we've missed the race. 2 o'clock race is done. I can't really sign up in advance, can I, to the ELMS Sprint Trophy race before I sign up for this next one. I'm clicking on schedule. It doesn't actually come up yet in the next category. Upcoming, let's see. Oh, amazing. Thank you, Chill Robots. Very much appreciated. We have people signing up for this Paul Ricard race in 40 minutes. It's 2 minutes practice, 7 minutes quali. All right, I can actually see the overview here to see how the timing's going to be. I think it's going to rain at that race as well, which is hellish, so maybe we'll do some wet weather practice beforehand. The prototype fixed race. How long is it? I think it's 3 minutes, 8 minutes, 20. Yeah, it's too tight, guys. It's too tight. I want to be able to kind of I don't want to just jump into a race immediately and then just be panicking and rushing to try and get things done. So we're going to give that a miss. We're going to sign up instead for the paul-ricard race. So I will be racing at 2:45. I can get registered now. And then we can jump in and do some practice, try and get up to speed. And we can try the new Ginetta. As you can see, everyone in LMP3 jumping in the Ginetta, so that'd be quite cool. And we can try wet weather as well. Look, it says it's going to rain in the race. That's terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Paul-ricard does look confusing, Dave, and it is confusing. So I'll tell you what, we'll use this time to give you a little bit of a paul-ricard guide, and I will try and learn it as we go as well. I know the track paul-ricard from a set of Corsa Competizione mainly. This is a different layout though. It's got the chicane in the middle of the backstretch, which you can actually see in the background. It is a properly confusing circuit, and there are a lot of long corners which require a bit of practice. I found it took, when I first learned paul-ricard back in the day, it took me so long to get the groove. So I'm sure lots of you will be new to the circuit and will be struggling with it, and that's absolutely fine. So let's get signed up in the new Ginetta. I've got my rookie badge because I've not done any Le Mans Ultimate races in the last few weeks. This is going to be coming in cold, essentially. First time in a little while. So we are essentially a rookie. I'm not the only rookie in this field. And I'm obviously not a rookie. But I might as well be. Right. We can do some practice. Yeah, don't worry, Thierry. Don't worry. This has only got 8 minutes left, so this one's probably useless, but we'll jump in anyway. Anyway, how's everyone getting on? We have the brand new Ginetta LMP3 car and paul-ricard. That's your 2 bits of content that come with this new DLC pack. So just to, I'll wind it back a little bit. I don't want to get too ahead of myself. This is Le Mans Ultimate version 1.2. Okay, so there are quite a few major changes to Le Mans Ultimate that come along with version 1.2, and we'll be trying that today. We'll be talking about that a little bit. And then separately from that, we also have the release of the ELMS Pack 2 DLC, which is paul-ricard and the Ginetta LMP3 car. So there's 2 different things going on at the same time here with Le Mans Ultimate, and that means that there are actually, in reality, lots of different things to discover and to find out. So update to the way the tires work in terms of the heating of them, the way that the thermal temperature from the brakes actually will influence the tire temperature more than it did before, or I don't even know if it did before at all. So that's new. That's going to change the way the car feels. There are, of course, always going to be small tweaks to the handling and the physics of certain cars as well. But we also have a new anti-cheat system. We've got a new stewarding system with the badges in place and all of that stuff, which is great to see. There's optimization improvements as well to performance, which is really good. Lots and lots of good stuff. I'd thoroughly recommend, if you want to know everything that's happening with the version 1.2 update, because I'm not going to be able to talk about everything. There's just going to be so much happening, and I'm going to try and jump into the races, talk about the content as well. So I'm not going to cover absolutely everything, of course. But if you want to find out more about what's actually here with the version 1.2 update, I'd thoroughly recommend go to the Le Mans Ultimate YouTube channel and watch the recent 15-minute Stephen Hood video where he chats about all the differences and the changes that are coming in, because obviously from the horse's mouth you can see exactly what's going on. One thing I forgot to mention, there's also a change to the way that the grip level and the rubber on the racing line adapts and changes throughout a session, and that also affects wet weather as well. So that's cool. This practice session's almost over, so we're literally gonna get the tires warm and then it's gonna be over. Let's go with the Coach Dave Academy setup. So yeah, basically what was happening before is the track was gripping up and the racing line was gripping up based on the position of the car, the center point of the car, and that was determining where the grip would go on the circuit. That's been changed now to more accurately reflect where the tires are actually touching the surface in terms of where the grip is going. So it's more realistic in that sense. Right. Nice blurry loading screen happening here that I've not seen before. One guy with a warning badge, yeah. There we are, we're in. Okay, this is literally going to be... I'm going to use this as just to kind of talk you through paul-ricard. Oh, hang on. I've been having this issue. Oh! It takes a little bit of time for the steering wheel to come to life. That's now frozen. There we go. Anyway, we'll ignore that. If it stops freezing. So, a couple of new things then. The Ginetta left-hand drive is the first thing, so it's very different to the Ligier. I've already literally crashed into the pit wall. I'm clear. And paul-ricard. So turn 1, you've got this kind of left-hander into a right-hander, so it's a chicane. Big curbs here, then you can run out wide onto the curb on the exit. Track limits are crucial as well to how you drive paul-ricard. You stay over to the left here. You can even use a bit of AstroTurf there, assuming the track limits allow it. Then you've got a kind of fast-ish right-hander slowing into a tight left, and then you've got a very, very tight right. So each of these 3 corners gets slower and slower. I've got no grip because I'm on cold tyres, of course, with no tyre warmers. Then you've got a long sweeping right-hander. Exit is key because you're then going to power out of there. Then you've got a flat-out left, probably not going to be flat out on cold tyres. Onto the back straight. Now, in a sense, of course, a Competizione, for those of you who played that game, you would just fire all the way down the straight, all the way down to the right-hander at the end. But this is the Formula 1 layout, or the ELMS layout, so you're going to be braking for the chicane. I'm going to let this car behind me go past. Oh, he's not wanting to go past. There you go. So you've got a kind of slow speed left, slow speed right, power out of there, just to essentially take down the top speed, which I think's a good thing for health and safety, if that's what it's for. But obviously they do still use the full layout where you fly down this back stretch, so I'm not quite sure about that one. Maybe depends on the fastest speed of the fastest cars. Then you've got this awesome commitment-based fast right-hander at the end of the back straight. And then you've got a nice long right-hand sweeper, which is ridiculously long. Double apex, you kind of run out wide in the middle, then you come back across to the inside for the exit. All the way back to the right, then you've got this horrible left-hander, which again is a super late apex. You got to wait and delay, then get into the corner, then get on the power, use the curb on the exit. And then you've got this sweeping, another sweeping long left-hander, which is slower than it looks. Obviously with cold tires, I'm just understeering like crazy. Then straight back over to a tight right-hander to end the lap. And that is a slow outlap of paul-ricard, so you get an idea of what the layout is. It's not simple. It's a little bit complex. Plenty of red gate sweepers in this one. So onto a flying lap then. We've still not got heat in the tyres, but we'll try pushing just a little bit. Need to work out where the track limits are, of course, for all these curbs, because that's going to be crucial to lap time. There's a car off on the side. That was probably over the limit, but I lifted slightly, so it was okay. I want to see if you can brake on the AstroTurf here at the 100, because you can do that in ACC over that curb. You can also hook this curb on the left. Lovely. Down to first gear. Watch for a lock-up in this LMP3 car. Ginetta feels very similar in terms of just overall characteristics to the Ligier, of course. Probably the visuals are the biggest thing because it's left-hand drive. But so far, I mean, it could be the Ligier. Sounds the same, of course, using the same engine. The LMP3 cars are very much built to specs. They're all very similar. They look similar too, just slightly different things. Let's try braking about there for the chicane. That was maybe a bit wide. On the power. It kind of reminds me a little bit of, the track itself is nothing like this, but Zolder, simply because in Zolder, it's all about learning what curbs you can use, what track limits you can get away with, and paul-ricard is a little bit like that. You've really got to commit to specific curbs, and it's going to make a huge difference to your lap time if you know how much you can take. Oh, it's going to be so tricky not to lock up a wheel through this right-hander. That was pretty good though. I went all the way out, then back in. That's what you want to be doing there. No track limit issues. Same again here, just delay, delay, delay. I didn't even see the apex curb there. You want to just see it towards the end. White line is the limit. Okay, good to know. Here again, just keeping it nice and tight to the curb. I actually missed my turn in for the right-hander there. You want to be further in. Okay, we're going to get one more lap in here. Fastest time is a 2:04.1 from someone else in this session. We've done a 2:02.8 straight away, but we should have more tyre time now, so I'm going to push a little bit harder. I will, of course, make a mistake because I don't know my limits yet of this car and track combo. That was legal. You can run all the way out there in turn 1, so you can really take advantage of track limits. I think we're okay to go on the AstroTurf here. Use that curb on the inside. Hug this curb. No issues. Bit too bumpy there, maybe. Down to first. Use this curb as well. Use the exit curb. All the way over the exit curb. Not sure about this one, but felt okay to use there. That one's... Oh. Okay, that's it. Practice session over. We've got half an hour, so we can try a few different things. We can try the wet. To be fair, we are. I'm going to be driving the LMP3 car in the actual race. So why don't we do a couple of laps in race weekend mode in a GT3 or something, just to get something different, or even a P2. We could do a P2 because they're mega fun. I kind of want to try the wet though, just to see. So there it is. Paul-Ricard, ELMS, Le Castellet, or Circuit Paul-Ricard. And yeah, lots of big straights. It's a weird one in terms of car setup as well, right? Because it's a track that is going to require low drag. It's going to require high straight line performance. But there's also so many corners where you're really relying on the grip mid-corner. And they last, they go on and on and on. And you're just going to give away so much time if you don't have good downforce. So car setup around here is going to be really interesting to see where the focus goes. So yeah. I should try some wet drive. You know what? I'll stick to the LMP3, but I'll try in the wet because I want one we can actually see how the track is in the wet and get used to it because there's a bit of rain in this race potentially. But also we can look at how the racing line's developing and changing and things like that. So we'll stick to the new Ginetta. There it is, so you can see what it looks like. The G61 LT P325 Evo. Absolute mouthful. But visually speaking, compared to the Ligier's got a more pointy front end. It's got higher... I don't know what you'd call them, but I guess arches at the front. It's got kind of it's stockier, it's higher there. It's more vertical, the drop off, whereas the Ginetta is a little bit more smooth and flowing, goes down over the wheel arch. So there are clear differences. Let's fill the grid. Hang on a second, let's sort some of these settings. Turn off private practice. We'll go, we want a wet track, so we'll go wet. Naturally progressing, that'll do. We'll just do the preset of rain and we'll see what happens, that's fine. We're not going to be able to do too much here in terms of learning how it does. In fact, we could probably just do it as a race. That might be better, because then you'll have all the cars on track together. So maybe we'll do it as a little race here. Let's see. Turn off practice. Keep off qualifying. We'll just do a race. We'll do 15 minutes for now. That's absolutely fine. Don't want to start at 8:30 in the evening. That's not good. Sometime in the middle of the day is fine. Random grid position, rolling start. We want there to be a wet track and wet weather in the race. And we'll just give it a try. We'll give it a try and have a play. And we want to fill the... Let's just turn off these and then we'll fill the ELMS grid. Only 8 P3s. That's fine though. Tire warmers off. Oh, this is terrifying. I'm actually going to turn down the AI as well for this. It's on like 96. I'm going to just go with 92, just because we're learning this track and we're doing the wet and everything like that. So I'm still probably going to fall miles behind, but we're going to give it a go. Let's have a look at some comments. Yeah, so I already see a comment from Derek. Le Mans Ultimate's already answered. There's only one layout at the moment, but Le Mans Ultimate have already said that they will consider more layouts once the full ELMS pack is underway. So basically, we've still got one more ELMS pack, which should contain, I believe, the Duquesne LMP3 car, and also Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. So that's still to come. That'll be the next one, hopefully, in theory. There might be more than that. And once ELMS is all here, then we will hopefully see some more layouts, including the one without the chicane in the middle, which is going to be really cool to fire down there in a hypercar and try and make the first corner. I love the idea, and that's probably what I mean. Looking at the forecast for the race, that might happen in the online race, but I want to just try this like a normal wet race with AI, see what happens. When I was learning ACC, friends said paul-ricard was a great circuit to learn the good and bad parts of cars. Yeah, 100%. Because there's like fast commitment-based corners where you need to really have a solid rear end that doesn't snap away from you, and you also need to have a lack of understeer. Like, you just need to grip up and stick and go. And it's a compromise between, you know, setting the car up too loose and also setting it up too safe and understeering. So it's really tricky. And then you've got all these slow cars as well, which you really need to have good low-speed mechanical grip. And also, obviously, from a setup perspective, you need to find a compromise where you can be fast on the straights. Because I think paul-ricard is going to really punish you if you don't have good straight line performance. So it's a great track for you know, learning a car, as long as you know the circuit. If you don't know the circuit, you kind of just get stuck. You go nowhere because you're constantly trying to look for that flow, and it's very hard to find. You need to learn the track first, and then you can use it as a really good way to kind of learn a car. I totally agree with Tirapiru. LMP2 is the best car. I love the LMP2 in Le Mans Ultimate. Whenever I do an LMP2 race, I'm happy. I'm in my happy place. LMP2 is just... It's simple, it works, it feels great, the force feedback's amazing, car handles well. I just love the feeling of the LMP2s. Car setup similarly for Nürburgring, GP, and Monza, yeah, I think that makes sense. Originally I was thinking maybe Spa might be quite good, because Spa has a lot of high-speed bits as well as the kind of high downforce requirements, but there's less slow corners at Spa. There are a few. Actually, there are a few kind of sweeping corners at Spa, so maybe I'm talking rubbish. Right, let's give this a try. We're going to stick to the Coach Dave Academy setup. I don't know if slicks are the way to go, but it's kind of putting us on slicks, so yeah, why not try it? We think it's time to consider wets. All right, let's try that again. I did set the road to be wet, to be fair. I still don't have I don't have a full grasp on the weather in LMU, because there's so many different things you can adjust and things you can change about the weather, like the real road, and then whether it's raining or not, whether the track's wet or not. There's just so many different variables that I don't quite have I'm not just instantly going to know exactly what's needed at all times or what the conditions are going to be like. All right.
Formation lap.
We're going to skip the formation lap.
Green flag, green flag.
Oh, is the race underway? I mean, I've just skipped the formation lap, I believe, and it's green flag, but look. I don't know what just happened. I'm pretty sure we just started the race. Interesting. That's new. So what you should see now is the tires of the AI cars are the things that are going to influence how the line dries on the racing line. This is chaos. Rather than the central position of the car. And that should result in a wider, drier line appearing. So you should have a bit more width to your optimum line. This is the most chaotic start to a race I think I've ever seen in my life. Let's sneak around the outside. Or just crash into them. That's fine as well. We just need to kind of spread out a little bit here, and then we'll hopefully begin to settle and see how this is all feeling. Ooh. Tires are warm. Just gonna sneak around the outside there. I'm racing against all Ligiers at the moment. There is, of course, only, I think, one Ginetta in ELMS, which is why we've only got one livery. Where's the braking point for the chicane? There it is. I was going a bit early. Ooh. Of course, no traction control, no ABS. That's a lie. I've got traction control, but I think it's a very simple system. Yeah, I do have traction control. Yeah, no ABS. I've got traction control. In real life, the drivers of LMP3 cars, the top drivers, don't tend to use the traction control or use very little of it. But obviously, it's there for the kind of more amateur drivers or the paid drivers who are in the category. And that makes sense, so they can put it on for a little bit of extra security. In the wet, I'm sure the TC is going to be more useful. You can run really wide through there and then cut back across. Obviously, in the wet, we just can't get on the power as early. This is the one where you really have to delay it, turn in late, and get on the power. There's also been adjustments made to wet lines and stuff, so we should have, I'm hoping, a little bit more Sorry. Locked up. I'm hoping that there's going to be a little bit more realistic grip variation between dry lines and wet lines at different points. So obviously, the reality of it is it's super, super nuanced in that, you know, a wet line is not always going to be faster than a dry line in the wet weather. It totally depends on a corner. Okay, I'm locking up super easily here. Need to be more gentle on the brakes. Yeah, what was I saying? A wet line is not always faster than a dry line. And it also changes hugely depending on how the track is drying. It could be that, you know, once the track is dry enough on the racing line, because everyone's using the racing line, that line becomes grippier. But while it's not drying, while it's just wet, you might find that the actual wet lines are better, being away from the rubber, which brings out the oil in the surface, and basically the discarded rubber becomes oily and slippery. So, intrigued to see grip variation between the lines. Now, I'm not really in a position yet where I can test it properly because I'm not up to speed. So I can give it a try, but it's going to be difficult to kind of perceive a difference. Let's brake at the 150. Try not to lock up. That was better. Oh, really, really low grip at low speed. One AI car down the inside. So he's slightly off the racing line there, and I had pretty good grip. Was able to stick around the outside, no problem. Here is difficult because the racing line actually is the wide line, because you can see all the AI cars coming all the way out here. So that's going to be interesting. It might even be quicker holding a slightly tighter line on the wet. This is also a weird corner where the racing line is actually wider than you'd expect. We just can't see any of those lines appearing yet, that's the thing. I almost need to try and set a lap time using normal dry lines, then try the same thing the lap after on wets and see what difference it makes. We can try that. I've got a little bit of damage as well. This is not online yet, Alex. We're doing some prep offline because our race is at 2:45, so I'll be going online in a little bit. Okay, first corner aside, because I've kind of missed the apex there. Oh, great exit from the AI. I want to try and do a lap of normal dry lines just to see. But not fully, obviously. I'm not going to be going across the AstroTurf and stuff in these conditions. But I'm on the curb there by accident trying to defend my position. Don't think I have the pace. I'm glad I turned the AI down a little bit because I do not have the measure of them at all. Right, 220 on the previous lap. So tricky not to lock up. I don't know what the wet lines would be around paul-ricard. That's going to be a learning process as well. So again, look, there we tried to take normal racing line and I was understeering quite a lot. I think I had more grip on the previous lap, just slightly outside of the main racing line. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, now go. No grip, trying to get the power down a bit too early. Alright, turn, turn. Nope, nothing, absolutely nothing. I'm going to accidentally go off the racing line there because I understeered. Okay. 217s from the AI cars up in front. I'm doing like 219. Let me try... Will I do one? No, I'm going to try doing slightly wet lines just to see. Just to experiment a little bit. Ignore turn 1 because I got that so wrong last time anyway. I don't think there is a wet line you can really take through that chicane, to be fair. Chicanes are tricky because you're constantly cutting across the line anyway. Slightly off the line there, that's fine. Again, really slow corners, not too much you can do, because if I go wider there, I'm just making the corner an impossible angle as I get hit by the eye. Try and go a little wider here. Better exit from going a little wider. Again, probably just the racing line through that kink there, because you can't really avoid the racing line there and without losing too much speed, so there's not much you can do. I'll brake slightly to the inside here, just get off the main rubber. You can actually now see the line beginning to appear finally, so let's brake at the 150. That was too early, wasn't it? But the braking performance was good. Not much you can do here other than crossing over the line potentially. Right, I'll try and go a bit wider through this corner. That felt way better. Look at the relative. Yeah, look at the gains on the exit. If I try and go inside of this one, because it's not the normal racing line's actually on the outside. Whoa, just that swapper at the end, but you see I gained like 3/10. Again, let's go a bit wider and then cut back across. Up another 10th. Try and go slightly wide through this one. Feels like there's more grip. And then this one, there's only one line through, really. I've messed that up by locking up the brakes, so that's going to ruin all my lap time. But yeah, it feels like there is just a little bit more grip off the line. There's just a little bit more grip. And that's, I mean, this is very early. Like, this is not me giving it some sort of proper analysis. As you can see, I'm literally working it out as we go here. It's not, ooh. I've got so much still to do, but just by trying to miss the racing line, there were certain moments where I just had more confidence and more grip. The AI cars are desperate to get around me. They're so much quicker through this first bit. But then I can kind of just keep it around the outside here, stick it down the inside on the curb, and then they just kind of let you go. So try the outside here. Probably not worth it. Interesting. It's fun. It's fun just trying to play around a little bit. There's a big lockup. You can actually see though now where the track is drying, so you've actually got this kind of grippier line. So what I kind of want to do is try and stick to that line now, and it should be a little bit wider than it would have been before version 1.2. I want to see if I'll now go faster by sticking to this drier line. Feels like there is more grip now on this line, straight away from that one corner. I can start to perceive that. Still running too wide through there. And there's still no grip there every single time. I get a big snap. First time you've actually seen the apex curb for that corner. In the wet, it's just painful understeer. You're never going to see the apex. Right, I'm going to stick to the drying line now, which is the main racing line. I feel like it's going to give me more grip now than the wet lines, just because of how it looks, to be honest.
18.50.
Missed my braking point slightly, and I couldn't stick to it, unfortunately. Ah, sorry about that, guys. Wonder if the AI are doing faster times. They're doing 2:17s. They were all doing 2:17s earlier, so let's just keep an eye on the top left to see what time the AI are doing. That was rubbish. See what time the AI are doing on these laps. We've only got another 2 minutes to go with this. It is cool, yeah. I do love that just by doing 3 or 4 laps you can immediately see the racing line and everything. That's cool. Okay, grip's feeling better now. Always got to be careful on the curbs. But you can see I'm just gaining everywhere. Yeah, that's what I'm intrigued to see. If it's wet on multiplayer, I don't know if it's gonna, like, obviously it's clearly based on what we're being told, the track surface is not a kind of predetermined line. Obviously the AI might take a generally predetermined racing line, right? Within reason, there'll be variation. Watch the oversteer here. But multiplayer, of course, you'll have different drivers doing different things, and I do wonder how that's going to affect the way the line dries. But instantly you can see the lap times coming good again. Got yellow rear damage as well, so that must have happened at some point with the AI. 2:15, yeah, so the AI are about 2 seconds quicker than they were earlier. If I got turn 1 right, I probably would have done something similar to them, to be fair. So I'm getting the hang of it a little bit. 2:16, 1 lap to go. Brake a bit earlier here. There we go. That's turn 1 finally. Very slippy out there. Nope, locked up. Oh, kind of got away with it. The thing about that corner is, if you go in too hot, as long as you just keep it in line enough to not get track limits and to stay on the curbs, you can just about rescue it. Like you saw there, I went in too hot, but because I was then able to just immediately dive onto the curb and kind of stick to it, it kind of kept me in an okay position. Like I didn't actually lose a huge amount of time there by going in too hot, because I managed to hold onto that curb and it sucked me in. I mean, honestly, I think if I venture off the drying line now, I'm just going to have less grip. I would keep my tyres cooler, I'm sure. But I think the way to go at this point is to stick to this drying line. Yeah, onto the wet, and then boom. I mean, I went in too hot, obviously, but 2 wheels on the wet there. So I don't think, I mean, I'm not perceiving like a dramatic change to how I would normally approach a wet weather driving session on LMU. Like, I'm still doing similar sort of things, seem to be... I had 2 corners to go. I was about to set the fastest lap. Anyway, I'm not having to transform things too drastically over like what LMU was before in the wet, but I'm liking the visual on the line. I do think the line does look a little bit wider, so that makes sense. That checks out. And yeah, it's enjoyable driving in the wet and just seeing how it all evolves. I didn't get to do enough experimenting there to really talk about wet lines. You could see me trying stuff. I think when I really focused on that lap deliberately missing the line, I felt more grip at certain corners, but the reason it's hard for me to definitively say, like, oh yeah, there it is because A, it was just one tiny little sample size, and B, the track was improving throughout the race anyway. So like the AI cars were getting faster, I was getting faster all the way through the race. So so it's hard, you know, even lap for lap. This is new, so we get to drive after the finish line, then it goes to a finish screen when we escape to the garage. So that's all new for this version 1.2 update, which is cool. I was last, I did spin. Lap time wise, my last lap would have been faster than their 2:15s. So I finally caught up to the AI's pace right at the end. Anyway. There you go, I enjoyed that. Thank you for the Fs in the chat, I deserved them. Don't worry, it was an AI race. For anyone who's just joined, it was an AI race. It's all good. I haven't driven... So I've got a question from Clear FEL. How is the new LMP3 tyre model? I haven't driven enough yet. I'm basically going to be finding out throughout the stream, right? This is my first go. But what I noticed when I went out on track in the dry in paul-ricard earlier, which we're hopefully going to do again in 4 minutes' time, when the tyre worms are off, the car does feel a little bit better immediately out of the pits. And I don't know if that's to do with the thermal thing with the brakes, because the brakes are also cold when you come out the pits, so I'm not quite sure. But it does feel a little bit more manageable straight out the pit lane with no tyre warmers. It's still crazy understeer, and you still get that kind of numbness in the force feedback when the tyre's just not gripping up, and it's just frustrating, and you just feel like you've got nothing under you. That feeling is still there, but I just think that it's been toned down slightly. And as I say, I don't know if that's just down to the thermal changes and the way it's warming with the brakes, or if that's down to the actual just general tyre model changes and the way the whole system is done. Because I can't see warm brakes making a difference out the pits because you have cold brakes, right? So I'm not 100% sure. Someone talking about puddles affecting things. I've not driven through a puddle at high speed on LMU since the update, no. I can talk about real life though. I've done a lot of racing in the wet because I'd raced in the UK, which is obviously dangerous. So I can talk about wet lines and things like that. Le Mans Ultimate, John, are you going to be trying the 100-minute special at 4 o'clock? Sadly not. I've got too much else to do to be able to do the 100-minute race. I would love to. It'd be great fun, but I cannot. I am going to do this ELMS sprint race in 2.5 minutes, around paul-ricard in the LMP3, and then from that point we'll just see where it goes. We'll see how many races I can squeeze in. I've not yet driven the GT3. No, literally just fired it up. I've done just that running just now in the LMP3. So I will maybe do a GT3 after this though to see, because obviously I've also heard that feels a bit better. What's your guys' feelings on Sims with the best AI? Ooft. So for you currently it's LMU, iRacing, then Race Room. Yeah, Race Room's AI is good, but it's not great. LMU's is really good. Not perfect, but it is very, very good. Like, I can have a natural race. Sophie on Gran Turismo 7. I don't know if that counts in your list of Sims, especially if you're talking about PC Sims, obviously it doesn't. Sophie on Gran Turismo 7 is very good, but only the Sophie-specific stuff, not the normal game stuff. iRacing's AI is actually really impressive too. I think LMU and iRacing are both very good for AI. Both a lot better than Assetto Corsa Evo and Assetto Corsa, of course. I think they're both better than Race Room. Race Room is better than Assetto Corsa Evo, quite comfortably. It's just not... The thing about Race Room is it's just not quite right in that they're slow. They feel like they have too much grip on the medium speed corners, and then they're a little bit too slow on the fast corners, and there's something a little bit odd, but it's still fun. I think AMS2's AI have improved a lot. I think AMS2 is really good AI. Not perfect again, but really good, and it's been continually improving. I don't think it's quite as good as LMU or iRacing, maybe. We'll not talk about PMR's AI. And definitely not talk about Rensport's AI. We'll not even go there. We've been there enough in the reviews. I don't need to go back there. Please don't let me go back there. rFactor 2's AI has been funny. rFactor 2's AI is very interesting. I think it can be very good in the right circumstances. The problem with rFactor 2 is you've got so many different car and track combos that some of them are just a bit broken. They improved that as time went on, but there was times where you would try to have an AI racing, like touring cars, for instance, at Croft or Thruxton or anything, and the AI cars would just like flip on the chicanes or crash into the tire barrier, and it was a mess. But you can also have really good races on rFactor 2, so it's more situational dependent. Whereas LMU's a bit better in that way because there's less variety on all the different cars and tracks. It's more controlled, in a more controlled environment, I would say. The AI is just more optimized across the board. Right, let's do it. First race at paul-ricard, first online race. I think it might be the first race for everyone online at paul-ricard, right? I don't think the last race took place because the server maintenance. So I think this might be the very first online race. R Factor 2 is Yuna Green. R Factor 2 is like essentially the game that Le Mans Ultimate was born from. So R Factor 2 was I mean, when did it come out? 2013 or something? 2012? So it's probably 13 years old now. It's been worked on continuously, but it's Studio 397 developed, and it's basically like the kernels of what became Le Mans Ultimate, but with so many different cars and tracks. A messy UI. It's a bit of a sandboxy game, but it's really, it's a proper sim. Amazing force feedback. That's why, Le Mans Ultimate feels very good as a driving sim in terms of the force feedback and the physics. A lot of that comes from the good stuff on R Factor 2. It's a brilliant sim, but you have to. Oh, you're being funny. Sorry. I don't want to assume everyone just knows these things. So apologies for over-explaining. But I mean, maybe someone watching doesn't know what R Factor 2 is. Yeah, I'm intrigued to try the GT3s. I know Le Mans Ultimate was asking about that. If you open LMU's install folder, the file structure's the same. Yeah, exactly. I mean, there are certain things. I was going to say don't break what isn't broken, but there was a lot broken with R Factor 2. So I think Le Mans Ultimate is a much cleaner package, and it was already cleaner from day one, but it's become cleaner and cleaner since then. It's really, I think, broken away from R Factor 2 in a good way, and I love R Factor 2 in certain elements, like for league racing, for things like that, for just driving a car on a track. The handling, the physics, and everything is just top level, even today. Absolutely top level. A little bit like Richard Burns Rally in that sense, where I think it still will be feeling amazing in 10 years' time. But then there's just all the messy UI and the kind of optimization around that, the loading times, the package system, the complicated menus, all of these things that just make it messy. So I'm glad Le Mans Ultimate has kind of freed itself from the shackles. We're in split 3. So we're not right in the top split. That's fine. Absolutely fine with me. We're going to jump into qualifying. We're going to go for... How many likes? Let's just play it safe with way more fuel than we need. We'll take 6 laps of fuel. 7 minutes. Coach Dave Academy preset setup. Let's go. Almost everyone in a Ginetta, but we do have some Ligiers. Of course, if you want to race paul-ricard, you have to own the ELMS 2 Pack 2 content, or you have to have Race Control Plus, which gets you all the content as part of the package that you pay for there. So everyone who's in this race will also have access to the Ginetta. Right, cold tires, cold brakes. Let's not lock them up and ruin them straight away. So out of the pits, in version 1.1, I would have had ridiculously low grip right now. I would be sliding all over the place. The force feedback would be going all over the place. So let's just see what happens now in 1.2. So I can turn in, and actually, look at this. I know I've got less fuel in the car, so it should be a bit better, but I am understeering, and I'm obviously driving well under the normal speed, but I can actually drive it somewhat naturally. So that is different. I can see brake temperature already come in, and I've got a slight green tinge on the HUD just inside the tires, so the brakes are maybe a little bit warm. But those tires were definitely not pre-warmed in these silver ranked races. No tire warmers. Right, now that I've been driving this track in the wet, though, I need to like reconfigure my brain for dry running. So it's going to be just five minutes of qualifying of trying to learn the layout, basically, and learn the braking points and the turn-in points in the dry. I think I did, what, 2 laps earlier, and it was a 2:02 I managed. But yeah, you can have a much better time out the pits now. I'm not hating life until there's any temperature in the car. It's actually, I mean, it's still frustratingly slow, but not in a way where I just want to jump out the car and go home. Right, there's the apex curve for that one. I need to be obviously more aggressive in there in the actual lap. Right. This should not be a fast lap. Let's just get a safe one in, and then hopefully we'll get maybe 2 fast laps. I'm going to take a bit more curb on the inside of turn 1 there. You see me just miss the apex, and it basically threw me wide on the rest of the corner as well. Ooh, interesting. Bit of a snap under brakes there by going on the AstroTurf. That was new. Didn't expect it. Almost caught me out. This is going to be a multi-class race as well, guys. So we've got P2s, LMP3s, and GT3s. And it's the faster P2s. It's the ELMS spec ones, of course, which are basically hypercars. Not far off it. Okay, other than turn 1, this has been a pretty... Oh, no, that's fine, it's legal. This has been a pretty solid banker lap so far, I think. Safe one if I don't crash, Jerry. Let's just see. I wasn't quite flat through there, but you can be pretty committed. I'm used to GT3 around here, and I've got more downforce in this car, so I need to sort of adjust my line slightly. Also, big thing, no ABS in this car compared to ABS in GT3, so if you're used to ploughing in there and relying on the brakes as you're turning, it's a lot trickier in a car like this than it would be in a GT3 because you don't have any ABS to trail brake with, so it's tricky. Stick it close to the curb. Yeah, pretty solid banker lap. I think the tyres aren't quite there yet, but it was a good lap. So someone's done a 2-minute dead, and that's where we need to try and get to. 2:12 for me, not far off. Right on that curb. There you go. You look at the gains on the exit just from getting that big curb. Probably took too much of it. Too much of that curb there in the wrong angle. Because that curb is really bumpy, if you hit it at the wrong angle, you just understeer. If you get it at the right angle, it pulls you in. So if you're going to use the curb, you've just got to get it at the right angle. I know that from ACC. It might be totally different in LMU, but it feels the same. Right, we're second on the grid though. It's a good start. Half a second up on this lap. Seem to be losing. I get some sort of track limits through the chicane there. That was messy. I went in a little bit too hot and then turned in too early for the second part, trying to compensate. So it wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. But there seems to be a track limits thing every time through there where it's just unsure whether it's going to stop the lap or not. Overloading the front left, but it's legal. Carry more speed in here this time. Then lift a bit, then back on the throttle. Ah, should have got more power earlier there. I think I nailed the line and just didn't trust it. Right, pretty good second lap. We're not going to break into the 59s, are we? It's going to be very close to a 59. Not quite.
That time was
And we get one more lap.
0.05.
That's better. That's how much curb you want to take through there. And again, slightly better exit from it. We're P2 at the moment. That's better. Much better angle of the curb. Alright, that was really nice through there. So let's now try and capitalise. We've got to find 4/10 for Paul, but he'll have another lap as well. I think P1 is just too fast. Every lap we've set, we've been just about half a second behind. So it's really P2 I'm trying to consolidate here, but I'll do my best. That was much better. I actually almost missed the chicane there. I was in ACC mode, ready to go down the straight, and then suddenly realised I was in the braking zone. Very, very close to missing that corner completely. Bit of a confidence lift. Didn't lose any time from lifting. Don't lock up the front. Trust the downforce a little bit. Bit of throttle. No. Ah, it's going to be orange. A lift for the yellow. Gets green again. Yeah, unfortunately, went too early on the throttle that time. I was too late on the throttle the lap before through that left-hander, so I thought I'm going to go earlier, and I went too earlier at the wrong line and just missed the corner, so I had to really back off. I did a 59.8. I reckon it could have been 59.5, 6 maybe, without that mistake. But Paul is a 59.4, and there's 3 people within 2/10, and then we've got the leader out in front, so it's going to be an amazing battle for the top 4, I think. Maybe mainly for P2. But yeah, I'll take it. I don't think I'm second row though, Ica. I got that second lap in, so we're front row. Oh, but it might. Oh no, because there's an overall position, right? So that'll change things.
Go to the grid for a race start.
I see what you mean. We're P11, so we're actually on the right side. I see what you mean. Unless they do. I don't know how qualifying works in that scenario. Oh, I better put fuel in quick. 40-minute race. How much fuel do we need? Probably a full tank. I'm going to go full tank. I actually don't know how much fuel we need. There's no ABS on the... Oh, I forgot to take new tyres. Am I too late? Whew. I always do that. Right? I've since that update where you have to take the tyres manually, I don't think I've ever remembered on time. Like, I'm not playing the game regularly enough to really have it in my head every time. So thankfully I did remember there. So I wasn't sure if when it's multi-class how the front row thing works. If it's because we're 11th, are we on the are we positioned second, or are we positioned based on the amount of cars in the class above us as well? If that makes any sense. Anyway. Get your predictions in the chat. 40-minute race here. I can't warm the tyres because I'll get a penalty for erratic driving, as has happened before. I can warm the brakes, which should now warm the tyres a bit. All Ginetta's in the top 8. Very, very quick there, going from qualifying to the race. Barely any time to even think. Yeah, don't worry, Ica. Dragging the brake. Yeah, I don't want another drive-through, Cameron. I've had enough of them in the last race. Come on. No penalty, please.
Green flag, green flag.
Go, go, go. Whoa, hello. I wasn't going to try and pass, but I respect the confidence of defending. But now I'm stuck on the inside, so we've got to be careful. Bit of side-to-side contact with P4. Got away with it. Right, concentrate, John. I'm still there. Oh, LMP2 crashing. I think potentially some of our rivals have been affected by that. I've snuck down the inside. Just gonna run wide, gonna let that happen. Yeah, I could have taken the lead there, but you could see it was absolute chaos. I wasn't willing to wreck the car. I think some of our rivals maybe got hit, unfortunately. So let me just try and stick in the slipstream of a leader, because they're the fastest. They've got me by about 4/10. But if I can learn from them, if I can slipstream, maybe we'll be okay. One of the LMP3s completely missed the chicane. Cold tires. That's the thing I need to remind myself. Cold tires, first lap. That's why I was being a bit cautious. Nice to follow someone else online and see that they have the same twitch in the same places. I'd even just given me confidence that my lines are actually okay. Follow the person who's fastest and see what they're doing. And if we're both doing something similar, that's usually a good sign. Someone in a Ligier, by the way, is up to 4th. I'm pretty sure there was no Ligiers in the top 8 in qualifying. So that's been an amazing start for them. Right, come on. Try and stick with Hanam here.
Lap 2, 12.24.
Piers Pryor give me the times. Struggling a little bit, aren't they? Don't know. Through that sector, I felt like I was quicker. But I think I was actually purple through that sector in qualifying, so maybe I am quicker at that part of the lap. Traffic's going to be mental when it happens. Oops. Actually was being overly cautious on the way in there because I wasn't trusting Hanam's braking point, and somehow then missed the apex for the second part, so that was a little bit clumsy, let's say. Oh, I hear the tyres working. Don't want to overload that front left too much. Maybe need to be a bit more safe on the way in there. I do think the Ginetta looks good though, for an LMP3 car, which I don't think are the prettiest vehicles, let's be real. Oh, jeez. I think the Ginetta specifically is a nicer looking car than the Ligier, for instance. Just do not like those big curbs. If you get a curb that's too high, which you do have a few of at paul-ricard, the Ginetta doesn't like it, so there's got to be a little bit of care taken, I think, in those situations. Well, let's see if we are just faster in this first sector. See if we can close the gap. Bit of a moment for Hanam, but he's running much wider here, which I think is the better play. Oofed. Sketchy over the curbs. Right, very hard to spot a braking point here when there's a car in front of you, so 150-ish. Oh, is that lift and coast? Are they lift and coasting? Maybe that's what it is. I did think it was a bit strange, the car's behaviour in the braking zone. I wonder if there's a bit of fuel save going on here, because I don't know if we've actually got enough to do 40 minutes. Maybe I just follow Hannah. I stick with him if I can, but also do a bit of fuel saving in the slipstream. I'm a bit faster than I thought I was going to be in terms of keeping pace-wise, but maybe they're just saving a bit more. It is, of course, for everyone, the first online race here at paul-ricard, I'm pretty sure. Don't think there was a race before this one. Oh, you don't have enough. So maybe it's just fuel save, try and avoid a pit stop. Hopefully he knows that I'm not going to try and pass him at this point.
Time
15 laps of fuel, 33 minutes to go.
1.16.
We'll do a big lift here. I think he's doing exactly the same. Which would explain why he's so much slower in the first sector. Because he's lifting and coasting. Don't know if running that wide is track limits or not. A little dash and splash as it can. So everyone will be doing a dash and splash potentially. I've used 20.6 litres and we're less than a quarter of the way in. So I'll try and do it, I'll look at it in quarters. 25 litres per 10 minutes, but obviously I need a bit more extra for the end. The key though is if I can just see, we both did exactly the same on that curb. It's exactly what I did in qualifying as well. The curb's too big. If you go too early, you get a horrible moment of understeer. Bounce over it. Yeah, I think so.
Time 2:02.21.
$19 litres of fuel required, according to strategy. That's a lot of fuel save. I can obviously reduce that a lot though. And I think it'll give us an extra lap once we get lapped by the fastest. Hmm. 14 litres required. Alright, that helps. Big difference already. You can see there we've already used more than 25 litres and it's been 10 minutes already, but we also had the formation lap, which used a tiny bit, and the first few laps I wasn't fuel saving. Both of us get the curb right that time. We're 2.5 clear of the Ligier in third, so we've got to watch out for that. I think they're full push. And I don't really mind if we have a three-way scrap. Just would rather be looking ahead than in my mirrors. Now it's saying 19 litres of fuel required again. I was at 14 laps, 19 litres, is that it? Oh,
Time
my button stopped working.
2.08.
Yeah, my go right button's not working. Now it's gone 24 litres of fuel required. It's all over the place. P3's coming. The game seems to be running pretty smooth for me. I've not, again, not done enough testing to really comment on it, but I haven't even checked what graphics settings I'm running, to be honest, since I've gone on 1.2. However, if it was the same, then yeah, it's been really smooth. Like that AI race in the rain with lots of cars, I don't think it was perfect FPS. I'm, aiming for 60 for my setup, but I think it was close to 60 at all times, really, wasn't it? Like, and I've definitely not noticed anything. I've not had anything to complain about other than the odd little, tiny little kind of screen freeze and things coming out of the pit lane. That wasn't a tiny freeze, I should say, but I just mean that nothing that's really influenced the race too much yet. Alright, Marchand is coming, but that's fine. There's maybe 3 of us, but he's clearly not on the fuel save. Got the average down to 5.16. And at 4.99 litres in the last lap, so that's a big difference. Oh, get those curbs at the wrong angle, it's so uncomfortable. He always uses more of the track than me on the outside of that corner, and I'm not sure which is best. By the way, if anyone's wondering what I'm talking about with lifting, coast, and fuel saving, I'm just lifting off the throttle well before the braking zones. So I'm just coasting into the braking zones. That's the best way to fuel save because you're still, carrying a lot of speed, aero-wise, but you are you're off throttle for a bigger distance essentially. That's when you're burning more fuel at higher speed. So it's the most efficient way of saving fuel, rather than, like, short shifting also helps a little, but the lifting coast is by far and away the most efficient way to save fuel, which is just to lift way before the braking zone, then brake, coast through the corner, little throttle as possible through the corner as well, trying to keep the car balanced. So it's all about getting the speed right on the way in and getting the line right, and then you can afford to just coast. Okay, Ligier has arrived. So 3-way scrap now, but we're going to be better on fuel at least. Even if we do have to do a splash and dash, we'll need less fuel.
That time was a 2:01.22.
I just know if I go for it, if I push past and make a move, then I'm not going to have the slipstream. It's going to be much harder to save fuel. Oh, now LMP2's off. And the rain's on. Right, it's going to be fun. A little bit of rain on slicks. Grip level high. Keep that screen on for a little bit. Mistake for the leader. Wasn't going to be able to make that move cleanly before this corner without big risk, so no need at this point. Eyes are on stocks now for me. Oh, Bollard, hello. Obviously knocked from Marchand, who's got a drive-through. All right, P3's now got a drive-through. Track limits, presumably.
Lap 2,
That
0,
takes the pressure off.
1.83.
Fuel-wise, 56 litres. We're almost halfway through the race, so it's doable, guys. It is doable if I keep saving a lot. Save a whole pit stop here. With the rain on as well, lifting and coasting becomes an extra safety measure, essentially. Oh, he's gone. Goodbye. Well, I didn't really necessarily want to make that overtake, but here we are. So 22 minutes remaining. I've got 55 litres of fuel. Oh. It's going to do half the race with half the fuel. Come on, we're bolting. Oh, that's a good shout, Ica. I can turn the traction up on. There you go. Good shout. Grip level still feels pretty good. I have confidence in this weather. I've obviously done my little wet race earlier as well, which helps probably. That's what I wanted to do, doing clipping that curb slightly but not getting on the high bit. Wow, I'm so glad I wasn't leading early on. I did not have the preparation skills to be like, oh, I'm going to have to lift and coast in this race. I was just like, yeah, let's race, let's win. And it wasn't until I spotted him doing it, till I realised I probably need to do it as well.
Time 2:01.89.
We're still doing 2:01.8 with big lifts and the rain. Let those two behind battle. Time to consider wet tyres according to the engineer. No thank you. Quite happy on my slicks right now. I saw the forecast before the race. I don't think this rain's going to last. So I'm happy to stick with it at the moment. If we pit for wet, I think it's going to be still going to be dry tyres, and then obviously we could do that and get our fuel though. So just dip below 50 litres and we're not quite 20 minutes in yet. Oh, it's interesting. Stick it out on dries or come in for wets? What are you thinking, chat? I'm thinking dry, to be honest. Thinking dry. Just stick at it. FPS dropping below 60 for the first time, that my eye could perceive anyway. People spinning off, so that's clearly the weather getting to folk now. Oh, and LMP2 just spun off. Marchand's obviously gone as well earlier in the lap. Oh, he's diving for the pit lane. Right, come on. Oh, this has made it interesting now. I'm staying out. I don't think it's wet enough.
Time was a 2:04.9.
But I still might have to pit anyway for fuel. Because I don't know if I'm saving enough. Let's see what tyres Marchand takes. Not Marchand, sorry. Hanam's onto wets. Let's prepare the pit menu anyway, just in case. Woo! Alright. That happened. Maybe it's time for wets. The way it just went on me there. Marchand's got a stop and go, but that's not really relevant. Maybe it's time for wets. I don't need that much fuel. Never done pit lane entry at paul-ricard, of course. Let's just take that right down. It's like 10 litres. Don't actually know if I've got a request pit stop button assigned. If it stops raining though, I don't really want to be on wets for the rest of the race. But I think it's just maybe too much now. I'm losing too much. Let's do it. Let's just make the decision. I have to commit. It might be the wrong call. I've got to commit. Hope I didn't speed on the way in there. I thought it was 60, but I was on miles an hour, not kilometers. Oh, I could have a speeding penalty. Oh, 10 litres of fuel going in. Should do the trick. Onto wets. It doesn't drink 10 litres a lap, I don't think. It drinks like 5 litres a lap, maybe. I think Hanam, because I think for the wet tyre, if you knew you were going to switch, I think the lap before was the one to go. So I think Hanam's going to come past me here. Because I lost a lot of time on that last lap on the slick. But let's see if I get a drive-through as well for speeding. Yeah, I did. Guys, I've ruined it with the speeding. I was just looking at the number, and I was like, oh, it's below 60. Nightmare. Sorry. Another drive-through penalty. Horrendous. This would have been the battle for the lead. I can stay out a few laps before serving it, just to keep the pressure on. So I can force him into a mistake without contact, obviously, but just a kind of pressurized mistake. Yeah, I think it's wet enough now. It's still raining. I think I was right to come in for wets, honestly. And I probably did it on the right lap as well, because I'm right there with him. But maybe a lap before was ideal if I hadn't made that mistake. I don't know. Touch and go, really. Did they not put fuel in? I thought they put fuel in. I didn't ask for much fuel. Maybe they didn't put fuel in. Seems like quite a low amount I've got. Yeah, I don't think they did put fuel in.
Lap 2, 22.71.
Oh, I've got to fuel save now, though. Yeah, I thought... So I don't know why they didn't put fuel in. So I'm going to have to save it now. Ah. Because it's wet, everyone's slowing down, the race is slower, you use less fuel anyway. It's increasing my chances, I think, of making it to the end. I'm annoyed about the drive-through, because without that, we'd still be having a great race. It said something as well. When I pitted, there was a message that came up about fuel. And I just thought it meant it can't put fuel in and change tyres at the same time. But it seemed to say something along the lines of you can't have fuel. I'll save a bit of fuel at pit speed, you're right. But if I actually manage to slow down to the pit speed, unlike last time. Oh. I think we might... Yeah, there's a chance we're okay for fuel. If you put fuel under what you actually have, it says you can't remove fuel. Oh, yeah. Ah, but I wasn't trying to... I was just trying to add 10 litres. I wasn't trying to put it to 10 litres, so I wonder if that's the issue. But I thought it was how much fuel you put in, not how much fuel you have when you come out the pits. Anyway, got server drive-through now. We're clear, well clear in P2. So I'm just having a bit of fun now. I'll do one more lap. Just to keep Hanam in check. See what he's doing.
Lap 2, 15.18.
Big fuel save. Whew. That was close. Ooh, GT3 causing stress. Ooh. Let's just take the lead for a bit of fun. That was, you probably heard as well, I locked up a little bit there, under brakes. Ever so slightly sketchy. I think it was the wrong lap to pit also because, be careful here, not to make contact, because I had my big mistake where I went across, and I think if he was sensible, Hanam, he would have taken a little bit of fuel. And obviously I didn't take fuel, not deliberately. I tried to take fuel, but I think I misunderstood the pit menus. Goodbye, Lambo. So I think I think Haman's pit stop would have been longer for take fuel, and oh no, BMW's also coming in the pits. No, they're just understeering. Right, there we go. Yeah, Hanam's pit stop should have been longer anyway, and we still came out about where we were before the pit stop. So I think the perfect lap to pit was the lap earlier, and wets was definitely the call. We've got less than 10 minutes to go. I've got more than 25 litres left, so that's a good sign. I'm glad someone put in the chat to remind me to... I would have done it. I would have remembered, I promise.
time was
But so many times on this
82.81.
channel I have forgotten to take penalties or whatever it might be, so I'm glad someone was prepared for that situation. Anyway, I've got 17 seconds to Hanam, but I've got a fuel save, so I can't really go full attack. And, I mean, if they spin, it's still possible. But pace-wise, I think they're probably going to be safe. I could also spin. So, let's just see if we can survive. Really enjoying racing around this track. Paul-Ricard, again, like, not one of my favourite tracks. I don't think it's many people's favourite tracks, Paul-Ricard. It just doesn't look very interesting, and obviously it's a bit, all the colours and the runoff areas and everything, it's just, I don't know. It's got a character, but that character's not exactly very pleasant, and let's just not mess up this GT3. Might be in a really important battle. So yeah, it's not the best track in the world, but actually, do you know what? Once you get the flow of it and stuff, I really have been enjoying this race. I've been enjoying battling with Hanam. And it's day one, but I already feel like I've got a little bit of a flow with it. I've still a lot of pace to find, of course, but when you're lifting and coasting this much, pace is not really the priority. It's just finding rhythm. Stopped raining now. What I can do as well is just see my lap times versus Hanam to have an idea, but it's not super relevant. I reckon I'm using like 4.7 litres of fuel, maybe a lap now, 4.6. Let's see. On this lap, I used 4.85.
Time 2:21.15.
I don't think I could have survived out on slicks, to be honest. This bit is so clumsy. If you don't know this part of the track, you're going to really hate it at first. Yeah, you can short shift. You can use higher gears. The main thing is, like, it's not just lift and coast into the corners, but it's also through the corners. So, for instance, like here, I can roll off the brake, just roll through that corner, a little bit of throttle, tiny touch when needed. But there are corners where you can change your driving technique to be more lift focused. So, for example, not this next right-hander. I mean, I will do it for this next right-hander, but the one after it is key. Normally you'd be trail braking in there, but with lift and coast, you can just be a little more focused on fully coasting. So, too wide there. So here I'm lifting off on the brake, but I'm just going to use as little throttle as possible. So no throttle at all. I mean, that's a terrible example because I've got it wrong. But just more of a momentum-based approach rather than like heavy braking, sharp back on the throttle early. It's like just let the car do the work. Just let it drive through the corner. Don't touch the throttle. I've closed in a couple of seconds on Hanam. Just safely get through this battle with the GT3s. It's a battle for P3, so I don't really want to ruin it.
Time 2:30.32.
I also need to lift and coast, so it's difficult because GT3s aren't much slower than the LMP3s. There's not a huge time difference, so you've got to be a bit cautious. If you're going to drive past someone, then lift in front of them when they're not lifting and coasting. Don't want to be too in their face. So here I'm just rolling in, no throttle, on brake. Again, no throttle here until I need it just to get the front round there. Bit of a short shift. Okay, we're coming up to the lead battle for GT3. Almost missed the chicane. In fact, I did miss the chicane slightly. We're 30 seconds clear of P3. Yeah, 4 minutes. You can see the dryer line appearing now on the road. Big lift. I mean, for Hanam's sake, he's going to have to hope he's put enough fuel in, because if he didn't put the fuel in, then I still have a chance. But he's going to be sensible. I mean, I'm sure he's been lifting and coasting like I have been, especially in a lead like that. You're going to be really careful about that stuff. Just going to wait. I'm not going to do anything with this GT3 until the pit straight. Probably should have done this with the Lambo as well. I kind of stuck it down the inside. I had space, but I had to keep it right on the curb, and I was a bit worried about annoying them. I probably did bother them a little bit, so I probably should have waited till after the last 2 corners. Got a little bit impatient, maybe.
Lap 2, 30.18.
I think you can take a lot of that inside curb in turn 1. It's actually more curb than I have been taking. I think you can take a lot more. Pit crew are begging me to come into the pits, but I've got 2 laps of fuel left still, so it should be okay. Depends where the leader is as well. If I need to take a splash just to get 1 lap in, I will do. And if that's the case, we'll make sure it's a small amount of fuel, 6 litres. Race conditions for these paul-ricard ELMS daily races are perfect for like showcasing the new wet weather line and the new track development, just because obviously you have that little splash of rain in the middle of it, and then it dries out. As long as it's the same every time, yeah, it's a really good display of the new update. Because you can see quite clearly now the drying line appearing, so you get that whole development throughout the race. Is it going to be enough fuel? That's the question. Where is the overall leader? I have no idea. 1.8 laps of fuel left. End of Mistral, okay. So we should be good. I think 40 seconds from the end of Mistral. Yeah.
Lap 2, 12.01.
Hopefully it comes up that this is the last lap. If it doesn't, I need to do a splash. And I think, to be honest, I'll do a splash. I would still come out, maybe even P2. Probably P2. Depends how long the pit lane is, but I haven't had time to work that out yet. Everyone's skating around. Alright, is it the last lap? Timer's up. What do you reckon, guys? Is it the last lap? Can you tell from... Oh, someone's having a crash. Usually it says 1 lap to go. Yeah, I have turned off tyres, so we've got just a fuel stop. It's still not saying 1 lap to go, so I think we are going to have to take a splash of fuel just to be safe. I think it's safer to take a fuel than to try and save, you know, that whole amount. Because we've got 4.8 litres left. That's not, you know, that's so much fuel saving. Unless Hanam pits and then we try and make it work. Okay, Hanam is pitting. Should we try and make it work? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, take fuel. I'm not going to risk it. I honestly, I could have tried, but we would have been so slow that we wouldn't have beaten Hanam anyway, because we would have had to save so much. I didn't want to throw away P2 with a stupid last-minute decision. Wow, if we hadn't had that drive-through. If we hadn't had that drive-through. Look, he's right there. Maybe he gets a drive-through. No, he would have been super safe.
Time 2:34.8.
If we hadn't had that drive-through, or if my car had actually taken the fuel, if I'd have done the menu properly, we would have been fine. So many ways we could have won this race, but anyway, it is what it is. P3's actually finished. So we would have been guaranteed P2 at a minimum anyway, right? Because P3 must have been lapped just before the finish line. Hey, that was a fun race. Fun, strategy-filled race. Dry, wet, fuel-saving, battling a little bit. 3 cars in it for a second. Crazy start. Managed to keep it clean as well. No incidents, really. Tiny, maybe bits of side-by-side contact on lap 1. But that's pretty much it. So it's good. Oh no, is that Hanam? No, that's an LMP2. Oh, the livery was so similar. I thought for a second that was P1. This is the win. This is the battle for the win in GT3, so we're not going to interfere here. Just going to let them race. Which way is it going to go? BMW or Lexus? BMW's going to defend the inside. Oh, Lexus is getting the undercut. What a race. What a race. Is the Lexus going to do it? Oh my goodness, look at this. Oh, the Beamer got it. The Beamer got it just. Fair play. Great race in GT3. Really good fun race in LMP3 as well. Could have been better. Could have been more exciting if I hadn't messed up. But, you know, messing up is part of the process for me, so you knew what you were getting when you signed up to this stream. Ah, right. When's the next one? In 1 minute. Quick. Can we do GT3? If I just realised, I would have gone quicker. We've got 1 minute till the next one. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. No, I don't want my profile. 9 seconds. Come on, enter. Register. Any car. Aston will do. Could not register. No, we're so close. We were so close. Ah. Oh well. We'll do something else. I'm not going to wait an hour for another one. Well, we've got the WEC experience, actually. How long's that, though? 74 minutes? You've got GT3, Monza, Curva Grande. We could do the WEC experience. It's Paul Ricard again. I don't know if you want to do Paul Ricard again. It's a new track, obviously. Or we could do something else. Yeah, they're LMP2 out in front. Yeah, that was it. What else we got? Too long for that one. I think we're gonna either do GT3 fixed at Monza. We could do prototype fixed at Spa, actually. That'd be fun. Maybe the P2 car at Spa would be really cool. Or we can do WEC Experience Paul Ricard. So I'm gonna set up a poll. And we're gonna decide our next race. So alright. Poll is live. I don't know how I've spelt the word experience there. Close enough. Probably right. GT3 at Monza, prototype fixed at Spa, or WEC experience at Paul Ricard. And once we've decided what series we do, if it's multi-class, we'll do a vote for the class. All of these I've got a tiny bit of time to learn what I'm doing. Monza less so, but I mean it is Monza GT3, so it's going to be absolute chaos if we do that. Obviously, we've got the option of GT3 in 2 of these. We've got the option of Hypercar in one of them. We've got the option of P2 and P3 in the other. So all the classes, basically, that are relevant, obviously aside from GTE, are covered here. And I'll end the poll in just a couple of minutes, once we've had a think. What I'm actually going to do is take a very short pause. So I'll be back in just a mo. And I'll let you continue getting your votes in for the poll. So, yeah, back in a second. Right, I am back, and I'm going to give it another 30 seconds on the poll, but there's a clear leader at the moment, and it is Monza GT3s. So, looks like we're going to be doing some Monza GT3s. Oh, it's the Curva Grande variant. Yeah, I mean, that's incredible. I love the Curva Grande variant. I mean, we can try it. Like, it's going to be absolute chaos. But, I mean, I don't mind a bit of chaos. 10 seconds. That's us. Monza Curva Grande it is. Did the results not even show up there? I've ended the poll, but the poll's gone. Anyway, I promise you it was Monza. So we're going to do it, and it's actually quite soon. It's in 10 minutes' time. So let's do a couple of laps. And we can test out the GT3 cars a little bit. 332 people signed up. That is a lot. So let's get registered. So we can talk about how the car feels. What should we do? I mean, what was that battle at the end there for the win? Was it the BMW versus the Lexus? We saw the BMW won. Anyone have any particular cars you want to see? Let me know in the chat. I will pick one. I'll not do another poll. But let me know what you think. Kevin wants the Lexus. Lexus. It's a good start for Lexus. Lexus. All right, we're all in honor of the GR GT. I love that call, guys. So let's go the Lexus. We'll go our Rafa Esports livery. I'm a massive fan of the new GR GT3 car, the Toyota. Lots of people think it's ugly. Lots of people think it's nice. I love it. I absolutely love it. Just angular. It's like a slightly stretched out Ginetta met an Aston Martin, and I just think it looks mega. It looks very purposeful. Cameron, I don't know if you like it. I think you hate it, but I'm a big fan of it. Right, we'll join the practice. We'll do a few laps. I mean, these servers are absolutely stacked, so I don't even know if we'll get in one. Oh, I think we're getting one. Yeah, Dodge Viper. Yeah, it's a little bit like that. I've got a splitting headache right now, guys. Don't know why. I thought you hated it, Cameron. I think it's just awesome. Comically awful. that is so strong. You hate it even more than I love it. Oh, John, how's it going? Long time no see. I know I've not been streaming as much LMU recently, so apologies, but great to see you on the stream. No need to apologize for the late join, ever, of course. It's a relaxed place. We can leave, we can come in as we please. You can never come back again if you don't like it. You can come back every day. I don't mind. All the support is always appreciated. Don't worry. I'm good, thanks, John. I'm glad you're good. Have you been trying any of version 1.2 yet? Have you tried the new DLC yet? It is a shame it won't be in a sim for a while. What's going to be the first sim that gets the Toyota? Will it be... I mean, it's not Toyota aren't going to be racing in WEC with that car, I'm pretty sure, next year, right? So it's probably not going to be Le Mans Ultimate. Obviously, Le Mans Ultimate is a bit different to other sims where the car isn't necessarily just tied to a category. It's actually tied to a specific series with the World Endurance and obviously the European Le Mans series. So it could be iRacing. It could be, of course, Evo. Probably not. It could be Gran Turismo 7. Almost definitely not. They take about 7 years to make any new GT3 cars. So it was good enough getting the 296 recently. Oh, what else could it be? AMS 2, potentially. They seem to be pretty quick. Race Room, pretty quick. Forza, yeah, it's probably going to be Forza, isn't it? Yeah, the IMSA license is a big thing, for sure. Cameron, I think the Lexus LFA might be my favorite car of all time. It is just amazing. So I'm with you. It's maybe not as good as an LFA kind of lookalike, but I think it looks great. I'm looking at it very independently. I'm not looking at it relative to anything. Oh, I've not. Actually, you know what? I have seen the new LFA concept. Let me have another look. I just think I get it if you look compared from one thing to another, it might not look good, but I just look at it individually as a race car and just think yes. Let me see, new concept LFA. See, I don't like the new LFA concept. That's ugly. Do you think the LFA concept's nice and the Toyota isn't? Because I am honestly. Oh wait, there's there's like a race car version. Sorry, this is not very social. I'm looking at things on my phone. The race version looks nice. That's pretty nice. But I'm not sure about the road. I'm not sure about like the road going one. No, Cameron. You're factually wrong. I'm not practicing, I'm just chatting nonsense. I can probably get a setup for this, actually. Oh no, it's fixed setup, isn't it? Ignore me. Let's do a couple of laps. Yeah. Right, we're gonna get 5 minutes of practice in. Let's see how we go. Now, first, this is gonna be my first run with the new tire model changes, or the new temperature build-up, so we'll see how it is. I think we do have tire warmers for these beginner races, so it shouldn't be too cold on the tires. I need to remember to take a bit more fuel than normal for a Sprint GT3 race, just because it's Curva Grande Monza. You're flat out for 80% of the lap. Alright, let's try and remind myself how to actually drive, ooh, hello, a GT3 around Monza. It's been a while since I've been on LMU, to be quite honest. But, I mean, GT3s in Monza are essentially sketched into the brain across various sims, so... We're not going to be right on the pace, but let's hopefully get into a good scrap. And I know that the last race I really enjoyed from like a strategic element, and the fuel saving, the rain, it was really fun, but the actual battling itself was fairly neutral, just because I was actually wanting to be in second, and then obviously I had my drive through. Hopefully this race is going to be a little bit more just flat out attack and see what happens in, you know, amidst chaos. I can't see it being as tactical. There are many drivers in warning and caution, oh dear. Yeah, I'm still a rookie because I've not done my 10 races since the system came in, or in the last couple of weeks. So I'm going to be classed as a rookie for a little while. But it sounds like we've got some chaos going to happen. But bear in mind, this is just the practice server. This isn't the main server. I'm also doing runs right now in a full tank of fuel, which probably isn't the most efficient practice, considering it's going to be a short race. The completely incorrect majority, yeah. No, you're not in the minority. Cameron leads his own path, and, you know, he's allowed. Just about. On this occasion. You're allowed to have an opinion, Cameron. Oh! That was dreadful. Tires are still not quite up to temperature. So yeah, I'm forgetting to actually analyse what I'm doing here. So out the pits on tyre warmers, the car feels pretty manageable straight out of the box. So on that outlap, I could actually get it round the circuit okay. It didn't feel too cumbersome. It didn't feel too sort of drained and understeery. But to be honest, with the tyre warmers on anyway, the GT3s of recent generally weren't too bad for that anyway. The car feels quite kind of soft and bouncy at the moment, and obviously some of that's going to be the setup for this track. I still don't think I'm up to temperature with the tyres yet, like properly. I mean, I'm not cold, but I'm not warm either. I'm feeling a lot of movement through the suspension. It's also, just bear in mind, I've just been driving like an LMP3 car, which is obviously a lot more kind of stiff. Yeah. I'll jump in the race. Right, we've done one lap. 142.6 on a full tank. No idea, but that's probably rubbish. But it's fine. Right. Let's get into the server. Yeah, a few warnings. A lot of rookies. I mean, I think you have to do, like, within a space of 2 weeks, it's quite a lot of races to do to not have your rookie badge. If you're, I mean, it's always going to be different for us at Traction, because we're obviously playing so many different racing games. I can't ever spend a huge amount of time on one game playing it religiously, and especially like every evening and all these kind of things as well. So I tend to jump around quite a lot, which is why you know, a situation like this, I'm probably going to have a rookie badge quite often. But obviously when there's big updates and things happening and I really get into it, I love the experience in Le Mans Ultimate. Look at this, by the way. It is an afternoon, a midweek afternoon, and there's 840 people signed up for this event. That's incredible. 840 people and that's just one event. That's just GT3s around Monza. It's not even the new content. There was 300 or something, or 280 something signed up for the Paul Ricard event a minute ago. Right, come on, it should be there. Here we go. It wasn't letting me join, so I've just backed out. Join event, there we go. 840 people means I will definitely not be in the top few splits because my driver ranking plummeted recently. I was going for gold. Did I get gold? No, I don't think I ever got gold. I got up to driver, I think I got up to the higher ends of S2 and then just had a bunch of races in a row where it went disastrously wrong and I dropped. 5,000 people playing right now. That's incredible. That's got to be close to a new record, right? What's the record on Le Mans Ultimate of concurrent players? That's huge. Let me just check my Steam charts here. 8,400. Wow. It's mega impressive. It just shows you what happens when a team of hardworking people continue to deliver updates and improvements to an already good base. Like, Le Mans Ultimate is still far from being the finished package. It's far from perfect. But it's just such a solid base. And the numbers have just been going up and up and up. Like, the average player numbers, if you look at the Steam charts, that since the launch of this game, the player numbers have just been going up and up and up and up and up. And, I mean, since June 2025, since the full release, it's been consistently above 2,000 as an average. Which means, of course, you get lots of people in online races. And online races that are full of people means that the racing's good, and if there's good racing, it brings more people to the game. It's a perpetual cycle. We talk about it all the time, but it's just great. Great for sim racing. The loading is a bit painful in this right now, though. Probably missed the first bit of qualifying. Does the new heat system... So, first of all, hello, youngster. Welcome to the stream. Does the new heat system make difference on the driving of GT3? So this is going to be my first race with the new system. I've done about 2 laps so far with it. And the car felt... Did it feel different on the first few laps there? I don't think I've ever driven the Lexus around Monza. Yeah, we're literally straight into qualifying. No time to think. We just gotta go. Lots of non-rookies in this field. I'm looking at my relative down the bottom left, which you guys can see, and I'm the only one between those, 5, well, how many? 6 rivals that we can see. None of them are rookies. It's just me. Yeah, so no, I've not had enough time to really discover it yet, but seems to be, with the tyre warmers on coming out of the pits, the car feels pretty manageable. Probably less bad than it has been in the past, or less undrivable than it has been in the past, but tyre warmers obviously helped that in the first place. The car feels quite quite soft on the setup and everything. Like, I can feel the tyres really well. I'm feeling the weight shifting under braking. The Lexus is quite a neutral car as well, which I think is good for feeling stuff. But I need to do more driving to analyze the overall experience, I would say. Tires are worse. Interesting. Is that tire warmers on or off that you're experiencing it being worse? Bear in mind, like, in theory, it shouldn't really make a difference when you come straight out of the pit lane. Obviously, there could be changes anyway to the physics in the tire system aside from the heat thing, but the actual thermal element of how the brakes warming also heats up the tires, you shouldn't come out of the pits with hot brakes. So really, it shouldn't make a massive difference, in theory, in my head anyway. When you first go onto the track, it should be more once you obviously start driving and then you start getting some heat in the brakes, then it should have a bigger impact on things. But I mean, it feels good so far. It felt good before, it feels good now, that's what I would say. We're not going to get many qualifying laps in here. should take the traction control down slightly. Obviously we're on default setups, so there are a few things you can do, and I've not done them to make the car a bit better. Alright, come on Lexus. Interesting, a few of you saying the tyres are worse. Haven't noticed anything negative yet. Oh, had to take 2 bites of that one, not great. Oh dear, terrible. I'm getting away with it in terms of the validation of the lap, but I need to do better through a Ascari. It's definitely like, I'm not fully up to temperature and speed yet on the first hot lap, so it's taken at least 2 laps of Curva Grande. Now, to be fair, Monza Curva Grande has probably the least amount of corners of any full track on the one Ultimate. But definitely feels like there's more to come from it. I mean, I don't think you should really notice directly the speed of the tyres heating up based on the brakes. I don't think it's going to be an instant thing. I think these things happen a little bit more gradually. You should probably notice the feeling slightly different of just the general tyre model and everything, but I can't imagine it's going to make like an absolutely huge difference immediately to the feel and the temperature. This is a better lap. You can see that, yeah, I mean, I'm driving maybe slightly better on this lap. Still not great, but the tyres are still coming in. So I have more grip on this lap than I had in the last lap, let's put it that way. Still don't quite know my braking zones around here today. I'm not fully in the zone with it yet. Oh, no, that's oversteer. No, that's gone yellow. Ah, that's going to be it. Just tried to... I was a bit too early on the brakes into Ascari. Tried to bite off a little bit more of the curb and then got a bit of oversteer, and that was it. We'll see what time we would do anyway, just out of curiosity. You can see the front left absolutely loaded up. So I reckon we lost a couple of tenths there in the Ascari as well. So we'll probably be looking at round about maybe edge of the top 5. But as it is, we're 9th, which is great. We're in amongst the chaos. Curva Grande, Monza, in amongst the chaos. I mean, I'm here for it, honestly. Like, let's go. Let's have fun. Let everyone finish their laps. 140.5 space. So yeah, we're thereabouts. I obviously still feel like I could find a lot of pace. Didn't do a great job. Am I the only rookie? No. There's 3 of us. Ah, you know what's nice? I mean, I have like a platinum safety ranking. Look how nice it is. Everyone else, like, there's no one with a bad driver ranking here. Look, good driver. It's all good driver or rookie. So, that's nice to see. A lobby full. This should be a good race then, right? With this in mind, I should be the danger. only the 3 of us should be the dangers. Good to see so many people are obviously playing this regularly, though. Let me get the car setup going. So we probably want...
Teams and drivers go to the grid.
I mean, how much fuel do we need? 45% maybe? Is that enough? I don't know. I think we might need 50 litres. Because it uses so much fuel around here, you know? Is 50 litres even enough? About 20 seconds. Yeah, I'm gonna take a little bit more. I'm gonna go 53 litres just to be safe. Twelve and a half laps. Yeah, it should be good. I feel like I've got 14 laps and there's 12 and a half laps expected. So we'll see if that changes throughout the race, but we should be good with that.
Formation lap has started.
Okay. Take the ABS down a little bit. Let's not play around too much with settings while we do the formation lap, because it's very easy to get a penalty. Okay, we should be good for fuel. Maybe overfueled slightly. I hope that's the case anyway. Rather play it safe because I don't know the amount. And let's just get stuck into a good race here. P9 out of, I don't know, 20-something drivers, I think. But pace-wise, you know, we didn't nail our qualifying there, so hopefully we can look forward rather than looking backwards, if that makes sense. Just have some fun. I'm so glad I remember tyres, because I always forget the tyres. Right. Lap 1, Monza Curva Grande, always chaotic. Let's see what happens. I'm out of line, apparently.
Green flag, green flag.
Will everyone get through the first corner? I've got no speed, no slipstream. Come on, someone. Merc, push me. Oh no. Oh no, contact. Oh no. I mean, we knew it was going to happen. I played it very sensibly, and I'm glad I did. I don't think I've ever done a lap 1 around here where... Actually, you know what? I think I have, actually. Maybe when we were all in Aston Martin Valkyries, I think we managed to get through the first 3 corners safely. Well... That's interesting. I mean, not good. I'm out the race on lap 1. I had a massive snap there. I wonder if that's because I changed the ABS. Unfortunately, guys, that's going to be it. I'm going to have to retire and pick another race, which is a real pain. Yeah. Very interesting, though. There's some analysis. Testing the new tire model. Was that because I adjusted the brake bias? I want to see a replay of that. I was just laughing about how I got through everything cleanly. Right. What on earth happened there? I've never had that happen on lap 1 before. I think, you know what? Cold brakes, cold tires. I think I've just gone in... Because I've adjusted the brake bias, I've put it a little bit further rearward. I've just attacked too hard. I didn't expect it to make such a big difference. I mean, if you look at my steering inputs, I'm not being that aggressive. I'm not being that aggressive. Like, I did throw the car in a little bit, but you see with my movements here, the steering, it's just turn, and then just snapped. Can we go slow motion? The way, like, it wasn't as if it was right on the transition that it went. It just kind of, it went after I'd already started committing to the corner. So here I'm on the brakes. I'm watching my brake input as well. I'm turning, still on the brakes. Is it when I roll off the brake pedal? Nope, there it is, gone. Wow. I mean, skill issue, obviously. But, yeah, wow. That's never happened to me on the previous version of Le Mans Ultimate. Maybe it was the setup change. Maybe it was just the cold tires at the rear. Probably a bit of the setup change contributed. But I've never been caught out so quickly, so easily before from something like that. Especially in a GT3 car. You know, I've got my ABS. I've got everything under control. Didn't have any issues in practice or qualifying. So it's, yeah, maybe just a bit more sensitive. Bit off more than I could chew, perhaps. Anyway, we survived the first 2 corners. That was fun to watch. That's kind of the entertainment for Monza. Okay, well, can we do another race? What's the time? Yeah, we need to do another race because that doesn't count. Midship melee at Algarve in 4 minutes. That could be quite good. It's in 4 minutes time, and it's another GT3 race, so we can try the tire model again. 300 people registered. Let's do that. Let's try a different car. So it's only mid-engine cars this time. So let's go. I drove the Lambo last time. Let's go. You know what? We're going to go the Porsche because the Iron Dames are leaving the World Endurance Championship. So we're going to go for the Iron Dames Porsche. And we've got 4 minutes, so we're going to be straight into another race. So not have to wait as long. Yeah, the 911 though, the GT3 911. No, the GT3 one is rear, isn't it? It was the GTE that's mid-engined. We've only got 3 minutes, so there's honestly no point in joining a practice session. Tire temps? Yeah, I don't think it was tire temps there caused that. John, that's a very good point. It was the crash, though. Very, very good observation, because I didn't even notice, but I'm pretty sure if you go back on the stream, I'm pretty sure I had a rear wing there when I spun. It almost felt like I didn't, the way it went, but I'm pretty sure I still had a rear wing. But it's a good spot. I mean, yeah, wing came off the barrier. Yeah, that's what I thought as well. Yeah. I need to not crash the Iron Dames car though. That would be dirt on the name. I need to be careful. But clearly, you need to prepare for this. Like I was maybe overconfident there. Just jumped into that Monza race. Oh yeah, I'll mess around with the brake bias or it wasn't the brake bias I changed, was it? It was the ABS I changed. I took it down from, I don't know if you even know if you saw this. I took it down from I think 9 or 10 down to like 8. It was still saying it was understeer rather than balanced, so didn't take it down much. But I was just kind of going in there confident, turning in, thinking the car would grip. I really didn't expect the rear to snap at that moment. And you can tell by the replay, like, how quickly it went. I mean, I turned into the corner and it was just like the rear was going before I'd even got to the apex. I think I was still slightly on the brake and it was already going. It wasn't like just on the transition off the brake, but it was almost there. So, anyway. A big F for me. My in-game steering wheel is lagging. Is that update problem or is it my settings? It wasn't like that before. Ooh, I don't know. It depends on the nature of the lag, I guess. I haven't seen any of that since the update. So, yeah. Interesting. So you think that I get what you mean it shouldn't have happened in terms of, like, I wouldn't have expected it to happen. Are you thinking then, is that why you're saying, because I know you've said earlier that you're not super keen on the feel of the new tires. You think there's chronic understeer? And what else did you say before? I'm just going through your comments here. You didn't notice the tires warming up when you were heating the brakes. And you think the tires are worse even after trying to heat the tires. Terrible understeer. Yeah, so do you think the car's just more difficult to drive in general then? A little bit more like understeery in general, but then also, I mean, clearly mine was an oversteer instance, so it's very different. You'd think that it would be the opposite. While there are 200 or 800 people in that Monza split, we still have like 300 in Portimao, which is really cool. Fox Rob Sim Racing. My issue with LMU and force feedback is the lack of feel in the car in corners, overshadowed by a notchy feeling. Interesting. I used to find, I think the force feedback in Le Mans Ultimate, in my opinion, I know everyone's got a different opinion, is amongst the best in sim racing, possibly the best in sim racing. But that's not to say I thought it was perfect. For me, there was always a bit of numbness at low speed. When you were really down low into the hairpins and stuff like that, everything just went a bit light and you didn't really feel the rear. And that was obviously a well-known thing. Lots of people, I mean, everyone knew that. They did improve that with a few changes recently, and I've actually found that that's less of an issue now. I'm not really getting a notchy feeling. Sometimes there's a weirdness in the FFB when your tires are cold. Like driving the LMP3 with cold tires is really, really tricky, and the force feedback does feel really weird, but that's the tires as well. But generally speaking, like relative to other games, I find the force feedback, even in the moments where you start losing control, it is better. But you do sometimes get a little bit of loss mid corner. Don't think it's as bad as it used to be, and I still think it's a lot better than most of its rivals in that area. You go for a bit of smoothing and dampener. Yeah, I tend to have all of those off. I tend to have no smoothing, no damper, just run it completely as is. But it totally depends on your wheel. It also depends on your game settings and stuff. But yeah, generally speaking, I mean, LMU of all of the games as well, LMU is so like detailed with the road surfaces and stuff that you can actually find it can be too rough with everything turned off. So I understand why people add a little bit of softening for the noise as well. That's a very good point actually, Zero Mario. But you don't want to add too much smoothing because it does numb it. You don't want to add too much damper. You don't want to add too much. All of these things, they might add better feeling to your wheel, but they take away from the correct detail that's coming from the game. So even if it's like for comfort reasons, you can run a little bit of that. But I tend to find that if the game's comfortable enough, get the settings as low as you can get away with. I did have some weird issues on a set of course at Evo with force feedback recently, and a kind of weird surging noise that I talked about during a stream for that game. It turned out I actually managed to get to the bottom of the issue. Not all the issues, because I still think the force feedback there is a bit strange. But there was a particular issue I was having where my wheelbase was like making these surging noises all the time, and I couldn't get to the bottom of it. Turned out it was the force feedback like enhancements. All of the defaults were set to 50%, and the road surface one, even at 10% or 5%, you could still hear this strange thing happening with the wheelbase. Turned it to 0, and suddenly it was all gone. So I think a lot of games try and add all these enhancements and filters and different options for road feel and curbs and all of these things, and you really have to play around with them to find your ideal point, because sometimes it is beneficial to have those details, especially on lower powered wheels that maybe don't give you as much information as other wheels. But for me, with a big Simucube on the rig, I don't need those kind of filters, because they just tend to mute the feeling, if anything. Okay, we're going to take 4 laps of fuel. 5 minutes of qualifying. Let's get out there. Portimao. Really tricky, challenging, but fun circuit. And let's see how the Porsche feels with this new tyre model. I think a Google user 7808, I think you talked about the Porsche. I don't know if you found the Porsche was one of the problems for you, but let's see how we go. All I'll do is drive it and tell you what I'm thinking. So, we have tyre warmers. So we shouldn't be too bad. We should have a bit of understeer, but nothing crazy. Let's see, flat out through here. Yeah, no problem. I do think everything feels better out the pits than it used to. But I mean, that's maybe more of a general thing from like a couple of updates. I mean, especially talking about a couple of updates, obviously tyre warmers made a huge difference to that. But to me, this feels pretty natural out the pits. I like it. It feels, I don't have the grip, but it's mainly understeer. The force feedback's still there for me. The detail's still there. I just feel like it's everything but at 91% grip, or instead of 100 or something like that. Try not to ruin these tires. Try and remember how to drive Portimao as well in the GT3. Max Verstappen is in this lobby, currently first in the Ferrari. Look at that. Oh. Big understeer. Alright, First flyer, still cold brakes, cold tires. So we're going to brake a bit early. And wow. So once again, even more so maybe than Monza, which is surprising because there's more corners. I really need to dial it back a bit more on this first flying lap. But then saying that, I'm not up to speed with the layout, so maybe I just went in too hot anyway. So there was some of that numbness at low speed. That hairpin at Portimao was always an issue. And I was actually fine mid-corner there. I could still feel the force feedback, so I decided to give it a boot full of throttle. And as I lost the rear, it just went pretty numb. But still managed to gather it up okay. We've been miles off it with this qualifying lap pace-wise, so not even going to think about that. I'm just going to try and do a slightly better second lap, and then we'll see where we end up and just try and survive the first lap and actually have a race. That's going to be goal number 1 after Monza. Complete opposite of Paul Ricard. Had a really solid first lap, nice and steady, got through it, you know. Still wasn't a perfect race, but much better. Take traction down just a little bit. Right, try and do a better lap. Bit too ambitious up the hill. Horrible exit. And then I was a bit too greedy with the steering lock on the exit. Should have just straightened out a little more. That was on me. Again, slight lack of feel, but that corner always seems to get me. Ooh, very light out there. All the elevation changes and things. Generally speaking, feeling pretty good to me though. Definitely not experiencing it being worse than before. So much understeer with the default setup there at the last corner. Going in maybe a bit too hot. Okay, 46.5, so we're a couple of seconds off the pace, which is kind of what I expected. But P7 on the grid, so we should still have a competitive race from there for sure. I've got how many cars in the field? 21 cars in the field, so yes. We're one of 2 rookies, apparently. And then you've got the trusted racer, and you've got the good racer. So, actually, trusted racer is one step beyond good racer, I'm pretty sure. So, in the last race at Monza, we had no trusted racers, just people that were good drivers. And I think, yeah, it says one of the safest players on the service. And it's really interesting that the top 7, none of us are the safest players on the service, but the rest of the field are. I mean, I might be. I'm a rookie, so it's like, I've not done my races but I crashed on lap 1 at Monza, so that's not going to help. The wheel feels lighter on... does it feel lighter on understeer? It feels lighter on oversteer.
Teams and drivers go to the grid for a race
We're
start.
straight into the race here. It's all happening very quickly, as it does. We're going to go with 14.2 laps of fuel, shall we? Or we should go a bit more. If we go to the grid, I need to change tires as well. Let's just see 12 laps expected, so let's go to 14 laps of fuel. We'll take new tyres as well. 49%, that'll do. All right, let's survive lap 1, guys. What would I change in the setup to remove the understeer? I mean, I'm not an expert on setup. I do have a full comprehensive setup guide for ACC from years ago, but I did a lot of research for that, and I'm not great with setups, generally speaking. However, hey Rev, nice to see you. I would say one big thing I like doing is adding rake to help rotation. So sometimes understeer comes from too much wing, too much traction control. You can lower the ABS, move the brake bias slightly rearwards will help with the understeer as well. Adding rake, which is essentially lowering the ride height on the front of the car or raising it on the rear, or both, that'll make your car more oversteery and more twitchy. There's things you can do like that. So generally it's like weight balance of the car, front to back, and also your brake bias and anti-lock brakes, which a lot of people don't realize is hugely influential on your understeer oversteer, even though it's brake related. All to do with just the weight balance shifting and things. Right, P7 on the grid. There's obviously lots of things you can do to suspension and dampers as well.
Green flag, green flag.
Cold brakes, cold tires, let's be careful. Oh, that's too much curb, but I'm alive. See if anyone else spins out on lap 1 or if it was just me. Lots of little bits of contact up ahead. Oh, there's a spinner. So that's interesting. So that McLaren, that looked kind of similar. I mean, that corner's always tricky, more tricky than Lesmo 2 at Monza, let's be real. I don't think I've ever made that mistake at Lesmo 2 in that way. But that car did something very similar with the rear. However, as I say, that corner on the Algarve, that's a mistake you can make anyway, right? That was not as surprising a mistake. I'm getting huge understeer through the last corner, so let's be a little bit more lifting a little bit more on the way in. Oh, see, even there, wow, just cannot get the car in for the life of me through the last corner. I need to do something to my line there. Anyway, we've got a big gap back to Max Verstappen in P8, so eyes forward. Iverson, who's leading this race, I've raced multiple times on LMU before, out in front of the Lamborghini. Everyone running way wide. I don't know if I'm confident enough in my braking point into turn 1, or this hairpin, sorry, without much practice to be able to send it. Let the Ferrari send it instead, and I'll just sneak down the inside. That works for me. Oh, same as I did in the first qualifying lap. Too eager on the throttle, too much steering lock, and my chance is gone. We seem pretty stable through there at the moment. The Porsche's feeling nice and stable, I would say. I know I've almost lost the rear a couple of times, but that's not... I'm not going to say that's the same thing as the Porsche not feeling stable. It's just me being greedy on the throttle and having too much steering lock. Just overall balance-wise, it's feeling pretty good. I feel like I need to get through on these guys a little bit because we're losing a bit of time to the cars in front. Right, let's try and sort out last corner. still way more understeer than others around me for some reason. More track limits. Yeah, setups is an interesting one as well, because of course these are all default setups, but with the new changes to how the car behaves, I don't think the changes to the kind of overall car behaviors I don't think the changes are huge as part of this update. There are changes to the thermal temperature things, and I think there's some tweaks here and there, but I don't think it's like a major physics overhaul or anything like that. I'm certainly not experiencing anything enormous. But even with that, that can make a big difference to setups and stuff like that. Track limits do affect the safety ranking, yes. If you lift and you start off with a yellow warning, for instance, if you just run slightly off. If you then lift off though and it goes green, you don't get the same safety ranking effect. So if you run wide and run off track limits, you can always err on the side of caution a little bit and actually get my head down and not lose these two in front after what I was saying earlier about getting past them. I seem to be rubbish in the last corner. Absolutely rubbish compared to everyone else. Even when I lift and have a really good line, I've just got nothing. Everywhere else it feels fine. Right, head down. We're 5.5 seconds clear of max in P7 and P8.
Time 1:46.92.
Yeah, I need to be maybe more aggressive when I'm lifting. But I don't really want to throw the car too much right now. I don't want to do too much of that. After what happened at Monza, I don't necessarily want to just absolutely chuck it. I'm still learning how it's all feeling. And it can go wrong in an instant, as we've seen. Close back in on this McLaren though, that's good. Normally I take a much more sweeping line through that section. I'm just not really doing that at the moment for whatever reason. Naturally I'm just kind of following the guys in front. Slightly better, but you look at me understeering now. See? If I just nail the throttle and try and keep with them, massive understeer on the exit. Oh, Ferrari's gone, Ferrari's gone. Oh, thankfully the McLaren survived without damage. So it's now just going to be a two-way scrap. Up into P6, see if we can get a top 5. I think we're pretty similarly paced, actually. Maybe I'm a bit quicker, it's hard to tell. I've seen that mistake that Ferrari made there so many times in the first sector of Algarve. It won't be the first, it won't be the last. Right, maybe I'll try my sweeping line this time. Oh, nowhere to go with the run. I had to lift, or else I would have smacked the back of the McLaren. But yeah, that worked in terms of the exit. I mean, you saw how much speed I got on the overrun, but I just couldn't go anywhere with it, really. So I think my sweeping line is the way to go. I'm not really feeling a major difference with the heating thing, and that, to me, kind of makes sense. Like, it will be making a difference, but I'm not feeling much in the way of the car's handling to how that differs from before. Like, you know, if I didn't know there was a major update and I jumped in now when everything was warm and running, I wouldn't be able to tell you, oh, that feels majorly different. And to be fair, as I say, I've not really been playing Le Mans Ultimate that much in recent weeks, so I'm kind of out of the groove a little bit with it, so that might be why as well. Someone who's playing this game and racing GT3s every day, and I know there are lots of you out there, which is awesome, you know, are maybe in a better position to really talk about the nuanced difference of feeling. But at this point, at this stage in the race, it doesn't feel like a different game to me. Different game from like 6 months ago or a year ago, definitely. There are lots of changes as part of this update, but you know, not a lot of them aren't focused around the car handling to all these things. It's lots of stuff to do with the anti-cheats, the badges, obviously the safety system, the engineer mode for the endurance races are coming. You've got the new content, you've got the optimization of the frames per second and things, and to be fair, performance has been pretty solid for me today. There are lots and lots of changes, just not that many that really directly affect the handling of the car and the feel of the car. But you can, as always, you can check out the full change log on everything that's new on the Traxion website, so you can get an idea of exactly what's changed. Right, we're still hanging on in there with this McLaren. We've got a massive gap behind us, so it's really just a battle for P5. Struggling to throw the car into the first corner as well. We've got a yellow warning lift. I don't really need to worry about my safety rating because I've got platinum, so I can kind of just, you know, if I get a yellow warning for track limits, I'm just going to take it most of the time because generally speaking it all averages out absolutely fine. But on that occasion I just lifted to be safe. Have you not tried the update yet? The car feels pretty well balanced in general though, like the rear snapping thing. At Monza I had that really surprising snap on the first lap that just caught me out of nowhere. Possibly related to the ABS change that I made going into the race because it didn't happen in practice or qualifying, and it just kind of massively caught me by surprise. It's the first time that's happened on lap 1 in LMU, I would say. But other than that, and obviously the acceleration out of the slow corners, that's just natural because I'm trying to accelerate too much with too much steering lock on, and I've turned the traction control down a bit, so I don't think there's anything weird in the rear snapping at the moment. Other than that Monza situation. The rest of the lap, it feels pretty good. It feels pretty normal. I don't have a lack of faith in the rear, which is nice. If anything, I'm just struggling a bit more with the front. Obviously, this Porsche being rear-engine, maybe that's why I'm struggling so much in the last corner on the default setup relative to others, because it's obviously not the car's strength. Chucking it in off balance when you've got the elevation changes to consider. I'm not going to lift for that yellow. Just take the penalty. Up to 1.25 out of 3, that's fine. Here I've got a little bit of understeer going on as well. Just can't quite hang with the McLaren through those corners. Yellow flag out in front. I think they're recovered though, still 3 seconds clear of us, so I think they're safe in P4. Just try and not run into the back of the McLaren, where I've got a bit more speed, because this sector I think I do have a bit more speed. I'm going to keep trying the outside line, and then if I'm still right there in the last lap, I can surprise them by going inside, because they'll be expecting me to go outside, I think. If I want to try this line again. There we go. Sneak down the inside there. Oh, they left just enough room, and I couldn't really hold it in place. Gave it a go. But I was just too unbalanced, too close to the grass, didn't want to have a crash. But fair play, the McLaren kind of let me sneak it there. Five minutes to go. Ah, okay, yeah, that's good. Good to see, Rev. I'm glad you can trust it more, so you're maybe finding out more of those differences than I am at the moment. But I mean, saying that, like, I'm not having, as I say, you know, I guess I'm agreeing, because I'm not really having issues with the rear, other than that one bizarre moment at Monza. All feeling pretty good to me at the moment. I did have a few on the last major update. I did, when I first jumped in GT3s, struggle a lot. I think I had my first, like, I had a couple of races where I just had a few spins. It was on stream, I believe, as well. I was doing a stream where, if any of you remember, I was comparing the feel of the GT3s between iRacing and Le Mans Ultimate, and iRacing made massive steps forward with their tyre model, like really noticeable improvements to the way the GT3 felt, especially on the first few laps out the pits while the tyres were coming in, but also just in general. And then LMU at that point had gone, I wouldn't say backwards, but it was a lot more challenging, and I found it a lot more easy to spin. You know, I'd never really had a spin in a GT3 race on Le Mans Ultimate, and suddenly I had like 2 spins in a couple of races, and I was spinning in practice and stuff, just trying to get the car up to temperature and everything. So I think they've dialed it back since then. I can't even remember what update that was. I think it might have been around about the main game release. I don't think it was 1.1. They've made quite a few improvements to that since, but it's definitely feeling better now than it did then at that moment when they did that update. But I think I said that last time I played it as well, since that update. And I don't usually, I'm not the, you know, on LMU, GT3 is one of my least favorite categories to drive. Like, I love the LMP2s, I love the hypercars. I enjoy some of the GT3s, I enjoy the racing in GT3, but it's not my favorite car class to drive in this game. I actually prefer GTEs as well. But no, I'm enjoying the feel of this right now. Just struggling with the understeer. Not enjoying the understeer. And I don't really want to start messing around too much with the ABS and stuff. In fact, I'll maybe do a little bit. Let's see if I have I'll maybe see if I can dial the ABS down slightly. We'll go to 7 and see if I end up having the same situation as I had at Monza or not. That'll be a good experiment. So if I have a big snappy spin out of nowhere, I'll know it's the ABS having a major impact. That was not ABS related. Come on. Ugh, not quite enough grip. I feel a bit more confident into the corners, I think, than this McLaren. I've got a little bit more under braking, maybe. So I think, you know, if it comes to it, I could potentially go for a kind of late braking move. I just got to commit to it. And I might get away with it, because I think I'm leaving a little on the table under brakes, because I'm not quite up to speed fully. I'm not quite confident. It's the last corner, though, that's going to kill me, because if I'm in front of the McLaren going to that last corner and I'm struggling so much around there, I don't know if I can hold on. So I almost need to get the move done, you know, a good amount in advance so that I can try and gap him before the last corner. This is a back marker, staying out of the way. And then I cannot get close enough through that left-hander to get a run into the hairpin. The thing is, they might not have enough fuel though. They might have just done what I used to do on GT3s, which is set virtual energy tank to 100% because it doesn't matter, and then lower the fuel load. So I don't think the McLaren's actually carrying, like none of the cars with 63% are actually carrying that much fuel. That's just their virtual energy number. And because these races are so short, it doesn't actually matter what your virtual energy number is. You can set it to 100 just so you don't ever run out of that. It's actually safer, and then just pick your fuel number. Stops you getting a stupid 2.5 minute penalty for something that doesn't matter in a sprint race. This is one of the corners where I could sneak up the inside. But it's still another lap to go, so wasn't quite ready for it there. I probably could have done, but I didn't want to be that guy just yet. Alright, on to the last lap. I've got a slight overlap here. That's something. Try and force the McLaren to have to run wide. That's what I needed. Just enough of an overlap to force them to leave me space so that when I understeer, at least I'll still be really close. Let's see if the slipstream's enough into turn 1. They've definitely not got too much fuel. Look, even with a slipstream, I'm barely closing. We'll do that up and under here. There we go. Done. Alright, now I just need to really focus and try and escape on this lap so they don't come back at me in the last corner. That was, I mean, I'm not finished yet, but that was executed to perfection. I'm really happy with that. Just over the course of those few corners, that sequence, just everything about it, being able to sneak a nose down the inside into the last corner, just put them off, get the slipstream, force them to defend turn 1. Everything about it was just absolutely A1 to plan. And it's this bit now I need to go. I need to just run away. If I can run away, we might be good. And that's what I needed. That gap of 7/10 before the last sector. Suddenly the car's feeling a bit different as soon as I'm in clean air and pushing on, because suddenly I'm not thinking about slowing down quite as much. I'm carrying a little bit more speed, and instantly I'm feeling the front struggling a little bit. The car's just like, whoa, you were close to the limit there. All right, big lift. There we go. We're good. We're good. It's going to be 5th place, so we got a top 5. That's nice for the stats. Really enjoyable little race between me and the McLaren there. There was 3 of us earlier on. Yeah, pace wasn't great, but it was I mean, for that race, to just jump in quickly and have a good battle, it was really good. So nice one. I don't have flashy lights to give them a big flash, but anyway. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Nice view of the McLaren for the whole race. Zurumaru was encouraging a dive bomb. I get why. I think I would have gone for it if it was later in the lap and I was still second and I just got close enough. I would have gone for it, but it is what it is. And the best part is, guys, I actually finished the race. I didn't have a drive-through, didn't have a penalty, didn't crash into a wall. That is the first time in what, 3 or 4 races on this channel that I've had a smooth sailing race. But yeah, that was good fun. I'm not sure. I think the ABS, yeah, I would say it probably did. Turning the ABS down a little maybe just helped me get the rotation a bit more. It definitely didn't give me anything like the issue I had at Monza on lap 1. I'm just thinking that at this point, I'm just thinking that's an enigma. That's just a balance enigma of me pushing too hard at the very wrong moment, just when the tires weren't quite there, and just as I transitioned off the brake pedal and I turned the ABS down and everything, it just swapped ends. Still was a bit extreme, but I wasn't feeling anything close to that again when I made that change, so I think it probably did help a little bit. And I think we maximised the result. I mean, I didn't have the pace there at all of the front runners in the Lamborghini and the Ferrari, so we basically finished as good as we could have done in that race, let's say, and it was very clean. So yeah, I'm happy. I think the understeer felt setup based, but obviously it's fixed setup, so it definitely felt like I couldn't have done too much about that unless I messed around a huge amount with the electronics and things. But I think the Porsche just generally doesn't, because the Porsche's rear engined, you've just not got enough weight over the front wheels when you come to those situations where you're changing elevation. I've gained safety ranking. I think we've gained some driver ranking again. We're slowly edging back towards S2, which is, I think we were top end of S2 at one point. So yeah, that's it. Good fun. In terms of the update, listen, I really like the Ginetta. I like the fact that it's left-hand drive, so it's good to have another LMP3 option. At the end of the day, it's not that interesting, in my opinion. It's just another LMP3 car. I probably prefer it to the Ligier, just because it looks, I don't know, it looks better. It's a nicer looking car to me. Does it matter to me which car I drive in a race? No. I think I'd be happy in the Ginetta or the Ligier. Paul-Ricard, I get why a lot of people hate it. I've warmed to it over the years. I don't love it, but I do like it. I think it's got a nice flow to it when you find the rhythm, when you get your lines right, which takes a lot of time. So if you're new to Paul-Ricard, please be patient. Race against the AI, on a high difficulty level. See what they're doing, see what their lines are, and just try and gauge it from that. Because it is a good track. Maybe watch some track guides as well. It's a great track when you get the flow, but until you get the flow, it's a horrible track. But I really enjoyed the wet weather stuff. I enjoyed the line and the way the line was drying. The width of it seemed better. The wet grip, when I tried it, we ventured onto it, seemed to be pretty decent. Didn't really test it enough. And then the GT3s, yeah, I had a slightly weird experience at Monza, but I would say overall it doesn't feel massively different. I just think it feels a bit better out of the pits. Everything feels a little bit more stable and solid and a bit more pleasant to drive out of the pits. When you're actually in the midst of a battle, it's very difficult for me to say how much better or worse that was than pre-update from my small sample size, because I only did one real race. But the car felt good, it felt solid, I felt safe. The setup was a little bit safe, potentially, but I had good grip, the force feedback felt nice. I don't think there were any major changes to that element with this update, so I wasn't expecting there to be a big difference, and to be honest, I'm not feeling a massive difference. Clearly, you guys are. Some of you are finding it much better. Some of you are finding it much better with, like not losing the rear, for example, as Rev was saying earlier, so that's something. And I know that some folk aren't enjoying the GT3s, so all I can say is I hope that you find a good setup, or I hope that they improve it or change it in a way that you do enjoy. But listen, I think, I don't think it's a huge update in terms of how the car feels. That's not the main point of this update. And the thermal stuff is good, it's realistic, it's good implementation. I couldn't really perceive much of it in those races either, and I wouldn't expect to, so that's fine. That's just like, for me, that's kind of like back-end stuff, right? That improves the overall consistency of the tire, it improves the realism of the heat and everything like that, but I would probably need to do a longer endurance race, and you need to really back-to-back the same combos across different updates in order to really know exactly what the feeling is and how different it is, and unfortunately I wasn't able to do that on this occasion because I didn't have the time or the opportunity to get on the update early, just because we had so much else on and so many other games that we were playing. So that is the way of the world sometimes. Sorry for all of my big ramble there, but hopefully it makes some sort of sense as usual. And can I just say, ranked racing on Le Mans Ultimate, always a good time. Always a good time. Just like Race Room was yesterday. I jumped on today. We got through the initial update kind of server maintenance stuff, and then I was basically straight into online racing. We did a Paul-Ricard race for the first time. It was completely smooth and clean. The FPS was good. There was barely any sort of weird jumping around. There was maybe the odd tiny screen freeze and stuff like that where it was slightly odd, but 99.8% of the time it was spot on. Had a good race, enjoyed the wet, enjoyed the strategy. Then we had some good battles in GT3s there. And to be fair, the racing was clean, which is that's probably the more important part of this update. The badge system, the sportsmanship stuff, the protesting system, all of that stuff has been improved, and even just seeing the badges is actually quite reaffirming, because there was in that race there, for instance, I saw so many people with that strong badge of good racer or pristine racer or whatever it is. I actually felt like, oh, I'm racing against someone I know is going to be clean, so I'm going to give them respect, they're probably going to give me respect, and that's how it turned out, right? Everyone gave each other respect. I think it's almost better because you don't go in with a kind of uncertainty, of preconceived uncertainty of what a driver's going to do. You think, oh, they've proven they're safe. Super, let's go for it. Let's have a nice race. And to be fair, it wouldn't have been like that for me because I'm a rookie. So people would have seen me and been like, oh, we don't know what he's going to do. So I need to get myself a badge, basically. But I think it was a good thing. I think it helped. I'm sure every race is different, right? And we saw some crazy stuff at Monza, but I can't say it caused any issues. Put it that way. Let me just see if we can view the badges and stuff. I don't think I can yet. So I can't sadly view the badges because I need to obtain the good badger. I need to obtain the good driver badge before I can change which badge is displayed. So for me, because I'm a rookie, I can't go and view them. But there's my rookie badge anyway. I mean, I'm clearly not new to the game. I've done plenty of races. 42 races, there you go. Obtain the good badger, yeah. Thank you, guys. 5,600 played. Yeah, Cameron, that number's going to keep going up as well, isn't it? It's 5 o'clock, so I'm going to need to shoot off. But yes, that's, yeah, now that work's over for people in the UK, obviously across the world, slowly people drip out of work and the numbers go up. People drip out of school as well. That's a big thing. I'm sure that's why the numbers are already raising. The rookie badge for me was just there, like just on my profile. It appears next to your name if you go... So for me, it's in the top right corner there, and it's also, if you go into profile, it just appears there. And then you can change it from here once you get to a certain point if you have the options to change it. So there you go. I just want to see what my rank, how my rank was affected by Monza. Yeah, I lost. I was expected to finish third. But nothing too bad. And there's my platinum safety ranking as well, so. Someone said something, yes, Mark Talbot. Does the mic get in your view, or is it just something you put up with to get good audio? No, I think it probably does get in your view a little bit at times, depending on how I position it. But I've spent a lot of time moving it around and getting the arm in the right place on the rig and everything. And when I first had this microphone on it, I had it attached to the main rig, which was a disaster because the vibrations from the rig would go all the way through the mic. So every time I rattled over a curb, the video sounded horrible, or the narration or whatever it is sounded horrible. So I've actually got in a position now where when I'm doing a voiceover or a video, I can move it here, and that would be probably in the way, just because I would be worried about knocking it. As I change gear, look, I'm knocking the microphone. But when I'm racing, I just make sure it's loud enough. I have it kind of up here in the distance. I know this is, I mean, you can't, hang on a second. You can't really see this very well, but I do have it far enough out the way. So what my shifter is here. So actually, even when I'm shifting, I don't touch it. And then when I'm on the wheel, even when I'm doing this, I'm not actually touching it unless I was to really take my hand off. And in terms of my view, it's just, so my screen is in front of me here, and the microphone is just evading the very, very edge of the monitor. So it's in my peripheral vision, but it doesn't really affect. I've just gotten very used to driving with it. I didn't used to drive with it until this iteration of Traction since 2024. But yeah, I've just gotten used to it, and it's absolutely fine. And it's in my peripheral vision, but it's not blocking me. And I do knock it sometimes, but it's, yeah, not blocking my gears, not blocking my steering wheel. All good. So there you go. I think it's the rookie badge thing is I think it's taking like an average of your performance in the last 10 races is what I'm due to believe. So even though, for example, I've done loads of races, I've got a rookie badge. The reason I've got a rookie badge is because I've actually not done a certain number of races in the last few weeks. So it's new as part of this update, but it's been gathering data for the past few weeks. So even when people couldn't see badges, it was actually evaluating your races for the past 10 races behind the scenes. And that's given it the data in order to now, when the update happens, everyone's got a badge. So for me, I've not done enough races since the badge system came into place to actually have a badge. That's why I'm a rookie. I'm clearly not a rookie. Someone who's done 700 races on LMU but hasn't raced in the last few weeks might also be showing up as a rookie right now. So yeah, once you do more races, that'll change. And that's simple as that, really. No worries at all, Mark. No worries at all. Just, yeah, that's it. I mean, I'm trying to think of what advice I can give you, but for me, I have a separate monitor mount. So I have an aluminium profile rig, but the monitor is also aluminium profile, but it's not attached to the main rig, which means that what I was able to do was I was able to add another 80/20 aluminium profile bar to the monitor mount, which basically runs down the side of my rig here. So I've got the actual rig itself where the shifter is attached to, and then just below that, which you cannot see on camera, you can see the mic shaking now. I've got another bar which runs all the way down back here, and it's just literally just a bar where I can attach things to and that bar does not get affected by vibrations from the wheelbase because it's only attached to the monitor, so the monitor stand. So because of that, I'm able to then clamp on the Rode mic stand, and it's just literally clamped onto that 80/20, and it doesn't affect it with the shaking stuff. So yeah, it took me a little bit of time to I mean, I'm not an engineer at all, I'm the opposite, I'm terrible, but it took me a little bit of time to engineer a very simple solution to this, but it's working really well, and it's been like this for over a year now, I think. So yeah, good luck with your setup. I wish you all the best with it, and I'll keep an eye on your channel and see if you're doing any streams soon. No more streams this week's tabs, unfortunately. Hopefully you're enjoying your DTM 2002 content that you won yesterday. But yeah, this is probably going to be it for this week. We've got lots of videos to do. No more streams. Hopefully another stream next week, which would probably be my last before the Christmas break. I need to wait and see, because I'll be going away for Christmas, going and visiting family, which is going to be fantastic and well needed, but it does mean I'll be away from my rig for a little while. So we'll make sure our videos are done in advance, and we'll have some videos coming out over the Christmas period, but I won't be doing any live streaming at that point. So hopefully this isn't the last stream of the year, but it is probably the last stream of the week, because we've done 2 already, and then I've got lots of video stuff to work on for the rest of the week. Oh, that is very, very annoying, Tabs. I'm sorry. Hopefully that I've not seen that bug before, but hopefully you get that sorted. Oh, you've contacted support. All right. Fingers crossed that gets sorted. I've not come across that one. Oh, welcome to the community. Amazing. Thank you so much, Mark, for joining. Very much appreciate it. All of your support, everyone commenting on these videos and streams, as always. I know I say it all the time, and it must get very boring when you're here a lot, but thank you so much. We really, really appreciate all the support. And, you know, it's amazing to have people joining the community. We'll hopefully be able to get you some early videos and additional content that when we can. It's not, I mean, obviously the whole thing with Traxion is we want to give you as much as possible anyway, and we want to give that to everyone. But as a thank you for supporting, sometimes we're able to, you know, put out full edits of interviews or things that wouldn't, you know, work as normal full videos, but we can put them out as extras, or we can even just put videos out slightly early at times when possible. So yeah, thank you so much. Welcome to the community. And yeah, that's pretty much going to be it for today's stream. I've really enjoyed the chat. I've enjoyed the racing. No worries at all, Dabney. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully you all enjoy version 1.2. Enjoy the rest of your sim racing week, as it were. I'm going to have my head down getting some videos prepped. Cameron, sort your opinions out on the new LFA and the Toyota. No, we're all allowed different opinions. It's fine. We can hate some sims, love some sims. We can hate the force feedback, love it. We can hate updates, love the updates. We can hate new cars and love new cars. It's all good. Everyone's allowed an opinion. It's time to go. I'm rambling. See you guys later. Thank you so much. Have a good week. Bye.